Good evening, MASL in the box. Monday, February 15th, 2021.
Good evening, everyone.
So I want to start this out a little bit differently. Last week, the MASL family experienced a loss. Brian Sales, son of Larry Sales, first employee ever of the Milwaukee Wave, underwent a heart surgery, open heart surgery, did not make it. MASL lost one of the best people ever. I want to have a quick 30-second or so moment of silence for Brian. All right, we're back. We'll be talking about Brian in a little bit here, but let's get this kicked off the right way here.
Yeah, before we get into anything, there was another picture I was thinking you were going to do. It's the one from 2 years ago where Milwaukee beat Utica in Utica, and they were celebrating with Milwaukee's best.
No, it wasn't that, but we do have.
That's a great picture.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MASL in the Box Live with your hosts, Adam, Matt, and Gio.
Everybody get.
We have a whole production or something going on here.
Apparently, yeah.
All right, welcome everybody. We have a pretty big show tonight. We have
Big show.
4
Big show.
guests,
Crazy.
plus whatever that is over Gio's shoulder.
He's here for the night.
Yeah. So so our big announcement we're gonna make. I'm going to paste links for a GoFundMe for Brian's sales and the whatchamajigger, the obituary and funeral notice for Brian's sales. I just posted that right into the chat. So everyone knows we've been doing this jersey auction for Chino and Chino's family last year.
Well, we had been talking about it.
Right.
Well, we announced it on the group though. We haven't announced
Well,
it.
we did, but those people, there might be people that just watch and they don't
Right.
know
That's
the
true. So
intricacies of what's going on.
the Kansas City Comets and Tacoma Stars owners have banded together and are donating a customized all-star jersey, similar to the ones over Matt's shoulder there. Matt, do your Vanna White. There you go. You can customize any size. You can get either white or the navy
Look at this
blue.
model.
You can get your name, whatever name you want, whatever number you want on the back. And that's courtesy of those guys. We're auctioning it off right now. Current high bid is $205. We're going to announce the winner next week on this show, but I think I said the bids are going to end at noon on Monday, just because that gives enough time to figure out what's going on. What we've decided to do, and that money is going to go towards Chino from the Wave. His family lost their 7-year-old boy last year, and we just felt horrible. We wanted to do something for him, so this is what we're doing. What we're also going to do is whatever the bids are, whatever the high bid is for that jersey, we're going to match that. The 3 of us are going to match that and donate that.
Well, Gio's leaving, so I don't know if he's.
I'm here.
He gets 2 shares.
I'm here. Don't
Get out of it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm leaving.
So,
no.
so
I was fixing the light. No, I was here.
we're going to we're gonna each match the donation.
Can I fix it? Cool.
the purchase for the
Well,
jersey.
collectively, we're not each giving.
Right. Collectively, 3 of us are going to combine money to, unless it gets ridiculous. Like if somebody bids 10 grand, like we're out. We're going to find a number more reasonable for us, but
We will discuss and we will, yeah.
but we want to do something. And we figured that would be a good way to do it. We'll donate that.
Because that's what we do here on In the Box.
we do. So let's get to our first guests.
Dude, I cannot.
Your hair is fine. I don't.
Is your makeup artist nearby?
No, I had to call her.
Use the corn dog to.
Are we going to talk about that?
Well, what?
Oh wait, hold on. Before we
The
do
corn
that,
dog.
What corn dog?
What do you
Wait,
mean,
hold on.
what
Let's
corn
wait.
dog?
Let's wait.
Even jerk.
So one of the best things to happen this weekend
Is that?
is that.
It's hilarious. I love the fact that they were okay with that.
Yeah, and they just kept going.
They were not only okay with it, they embraced it.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest thing is I told so this is Dennis's corn dog Gerg. I don't know why he called him that. There's nothing really distinguishing that tells me that seems to be. Hey
guys.
Hey!
you know what else I found?
I'm already being laughed at. I literally just got here. Matt's already laughing about something.
Do you want me to go into other
No,
things?
no,
All right. Well,
You're
then
more than welcome to, Matt.
no.
I will eventually. Don't worry.
Wait. Before we dive in into all that fun, I just want to give a quick update on the M2 and M3. So the M2 is put on pause until May-ish, because all the except the invitational coming up in March. But after that, it will go on pause for another month and a half till May, where they're gonna look to wrap up the summer session, the 21 season. And then M3 just had their, what you can call the crowning of the first ever M3 team. It features Omaha and Sunflower, Wichita Wings, and I can't deal with this guy, and Springfield Demise. Omaha ended up winning the semifinals against Wichita, and then ended up beating Sunflowers, who beat Demise in the semifinals.
That Sunflower Demise game was really good. The ending was good.
Really good. It was really
It
good.
should have been ended in regular time, but
I didn't see how they didn't call that a goal. I don't.
That was like
I don't know if it was a handball or a foul or something, but I thought it was a goal.
I didn't watch.
So what happened was, Adam, like their Sunflowers had the ball in their end. They were shooting. It got caught off a rebound onto some defender, and then the attacker jumped on it, and it somehow hit off of him and went in. But in the mix of the little pile up, because the keeper was on the ground somewhere, something was called. I didn't quite hear what it was called, but they didn't call it a goal.
no, I think it was they didn't call it a goal because it wasn't over the line as time expired.
I don't know how they figured that out because there's no goal judges and the refs just get together and go, did it go over?
Well, they didn't even do that. But I mean, it all panned out in the end. Sunflower ended up winning in overtime.
Which I must say, I called that.
I didn't see that.
McDonald tagged me on a tweet, was like, "Hey, can we get some predictions for the M3
Why
playoff?"
are they coming to you with predictions?
And I was like,
Adam,
I don't know.
Adam, do we really need to discuss predictions with him?
I don't think so. I don't think maybe.
Well, what were you 2-0 this week?
I was. I was not. The picker wheel was 2-0 this week.
Okay, so the picker wheel was 2-0. I was 2-0. Hannah was 2-0.
Oh my god!
I plan on going 8-0 this week, by the way, just so you guys know. Also, we need to do some formal introductions here because Lucy and I have never really met Gio.
Yeah. So welcome to the show.
I'm Gio.
Nice to meet you. I'm Lucy.
I'm Cliff.
It's a pleasure to meet both of you.
Cliff,
Are you
Cliff,
7
what are you
feet
drinking
tall
tonight?
too, or what?
No, I'm
drinking
not 7
tonight,
feet
Cliff?
tall. I'm
Nothing.
5'11", so
I'm just drinking some Miller Lite. It's an easy night for me. We
Okay.
got a blizzard going on right now.
So do we.
Oh yeah. Well,
Matt's
you're
supposed to
northern.
8 to
You're
12
north.
inches.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a lot.
So are we.
Not like upstate New York blizzard.
Yeah.
but for Matt,
That's a normal day in my book.
like a foot of snow is like a few inches.
A Tuesday, yeah.
Right.
Kind of for us too, though.
So Cliff, do you approve? So before we talk, I have some campfire tales. It is a s'mores-ish type beer.
I've actually seen those. It smells smoke or tastes smoky, right? It's like infused with like a liquid smoke in it.
It's infused with liquid awesomeness.
That
There
sounds
you
It
go.
beats the coconut one from last week.
I was giving you a hard time about that.
I know you were.
Last week,
Adam, should we get this out of the way? Should we all look left real quick?
Which
And I
way is
look
left?
right.
there she did it.
That way.
She left right.
I like on a soccer field, I have to or anywhere, just
Yeah.
always the hands. I'm not good with
Well,
directions.
Lucie, so I saw something the other day that might interest you. So someone actually got a tattoo of an L and an R.
I've seen that. And
Or,
you know,
yeah.
the most ironic thing is my name begins with an L. So you would think when I hold up an L, I should be able to look at it and know that's my left. But it still takes me a minute sometimes. I have to really look at it.
You're not helping your case anymore.
No,
Yeah,
I know. It's really bad. I'm really smart though, I promise.
Okay.
Yeah. But not common sense wise, kind of.
It's like-
So we haven't even introduced him to everyone that's out there, right? Or we just kind of.
So everyone, Superstar Wave fans, Cliff and Lucy Johnson, they sit in the 300 section,
Yeah.
right underneath where the press box is,
Broadcasting is. Yep.
and they always have their own row to themselves, so Lucy can sprint up and down and grumble
Yep.
and swear.
And
Yeah.
they had the wonderful pleasure of staying next to us in Kansas City.
Yes.
Yes, very true. There's my all-star jersey up there. This is my wave wall in my bedroom. Has all my pictures, my wave players. I love it very much. I get to look at it every morning.
All I have is this.
Day.
The mustache looks great.
It's built
All I got
in
is
the
a-
Zoom.
That's all I got.
Oh boy.
We
All
can
right.
dive
So,
first.
did you guys watch the games over the weekend?
We
We
did.
did. Yeah.
I had a friend over, which did not make my dad happy, but we still made her watch them.
So
With
which
us.
game did you watch? Did you watch both of them?
Watch
We watch
both.
both. We always bring a second TV out into the loft. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like when we were discussing, Adam asked to bring us on to talk about this weekend's up and coming games. And I started doing some thinking. I'm like, well, geez, there's a couple of these teams that have always been on the second TV with the audio off. So we're just kind of like wavering back and forth. So, when we get to talking about, the Soccers and specifically the Stars, we've only seen them from the second TV. They were never really the featured game. So we haven't even seen, obviously they've only played 2 games, the Soccers, and the Stars have played 3. So as I'm looking up and down what's going on this weekend, which is just chock full of games, I'm like, we really don't even know much about these 2 teams right now.
True.
Did you see how I picked games last week?
With the wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll do that.
I figured if the teams are going to have 6, 7, 8 players out and then not even announce them on the injury report, I'm just going to randomly pick games for the rest of the season.
Well, and that's
We
part
should
of
have,
But
so we should have the wheel picker versus Geo.
but
Wheel
so
picker's
hear me
already
out. They've been updating the injury reports.
not as of today.
Not
After what?
accurate,
year?
not accurately.
But hey, it's an effort.
So Drew Ruggles is out with some sort of injury. He's never been on the injury report.
Lipe was scheduled to be out but played.
Lee was scheduled to be out and played. St. Louis had another 3 or 4 players that weren't even listed that didn't play.
So Drew Ruggles is out.
Not for the seat.
Well,
Well, why don't we just replace him with another All-Star?
right.
Right.
You know who
Nobody
isn't playing this year? Right now? Tom Brady. I heard he's available.
Tom Brady is available. Yeah.
There you go.
He just came off a big win too,
Yeah, it would be a good addition to that team.
Well, that's what's hard. Like looking at making the picks for this week, I love what I saw in Ontario, but at the same time, they're playing against a decimated St. Louis team and essentially back-to-back nights. So I don't even know what to expect from that team. They played 2 games against the St. Louis team who put 4 great quarters together against Florida, and now they get run all over the field by Ontario this past week. So
It was 2 weeks.
and we're 2 weeks ago, but rightfully so because St. Louis had half their roster available.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's kind of a great segue into later on tonight. We're going to have Philly and the Panda from Ontario on the show to talk about the Fury. So
I mean,
it's
that
kinda-
team, though, just really impressive with the high pressure and the amount of shots they got off. And, I made that comment in the stream there, or in the feed, I should say, about just the number of block shots that St. Louis had. I mean, they were going down and blocking everything.
Mhm.
And the number of shots that actually got off, Adam and I had a separate conversation about that. But man, they just got completely outshot. St. Louis did, and it felt like Petracek stood on his head for both those games. And just by game 2, the team had hardly any legs out there,
Right. I feel like if Everton had time with whatever group of players we've seen this year, whatever their makeup may be, he would be good at it. But you just can't, like, hey, it's Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, whenever they do testing, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
surprise, these guys are out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like obviously we've all been living our lives now for almost a full year, not knowing what's coming next. And for them to have, the talent that they've got on that team, and then to, put together that game against Florida, but then not be able to keep their legs against Ontario. We don't know what could have happened 2 weeks ago with that team. And it's sad because they do have the players, and they can't put it all together.
Yeah, it's I mean, but again, have they had the same players play the same
No,
game?
not at all.
Yeah. And they've played 10 games already.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the interesting thing is they come off of those 2 losses back to back to Ontario, and we don't even get to see them this weekend. that's completely full of soccer, and we're
Fun
gonna have
last weekend.
we're gonna have teams that are playing 3 games in 72 hours, including those 2 West Coast teams that are gonna have start times at 9 a.m. for their fans over there. I mean, I'm still thinking about my second cup of coffee, and they're gonna be playing their third game of the weekend already.
Oh, geez, I didn't even realize that. I just saw
Yeah.
12 and I'm like, oh, good, early game.
No, that's at
Enough.
11 o'clock Central Time. That's at
Right.
9 a.m. out in Tacoma.
Right.
That's kind of like similar to like a West Coast game. I think so when Syracuse played out in Turlock in San Diego, it was like 10:30 at night, 11
Yeah.
o'clock before the games came on, and it's just like, I want to go to bed, but I really want to watch them play.
That was that Monterey and Sockers game.
Yeah.
After the Milwaukee Wave and
Yeah.
Baltimore Blast Eastern Conference champion, we got home and it was like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, game didn't even start till past 9.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
raucous
we gotta
here.
stay up.
Personally, I like those early games. Maybe just because I watch a lot of outdoor, or I used to watch a lot of outdoor. So like the Premier League early games. I love the weekends. It was just
That's nice. You wake up on a Saturday morning and you got soccer going on because it's over there across the pond.
Yeah, it's I loved it. But I mean, all the leagues over there obviously played around that time. But
Sure,
I love
there's 7 hours ahead of us.
There was that Blast Sonora final that went into 3 overtimes.
Yeah.
And I remember taking an Ambien to go to sleep, like right halfway through the 4th quarter, figuring, oh, this is just in time.
I feel bad for you.
That's
and I'm like keeping my eyes open, trying to watch it. We're in the
That's
channel,
what I
like,
did. That was like 3 weekends ago. I was having some major allergy issues.
Oh my god!
And I had to take a Benadryl, and it was game was it?
Tacoma, Kansas City, where they went into that crazy overtime.
And I was like passed out of sleep because I had to take some Benadryl because I had such bad allergies. I took a Benadryl and a can full of Miller Lights, and before I know it, I was comatose.
Tacoma was having like this crazy game, like this crazy comeback, and I'm like, oh my god, Vinny Tantos just scored from one. He's just like,
I could hear it like all going on, but my subconscious was like, it was like I was living in a dream. It's like when you're in that haze. It was incredible.
And then Corey Keats scored that overtime goal, and I'm like, Dad, you gotta wake up and see this. It's like, come here, you just gotta look at this goal. Tacoma won. Come on.
Well, our feed froze, and so she was watching the rest of the game from her phone.
Oh,
because we use Facebook Live on our televisions.
Yeah. That's the worst app I've ever seen.
It does okay with us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's every once in a while it'll get pixelated. Like, that first weekend in Florida was a train wreck. But ever since then, we've managed to, I just thoroughly enjoy Kansas City's feed. I like St. Louis's feed.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is, like I said, I said this in the Facebook group too. I've taken the half full sort of approach to this. Our season pass has paid for itself already. We've watched 10 plus games already between putting those up on the 2 TVs and just using that app. It's actually worked really well for us. So
because we have tons of Fire Sticks in our house, so we just plug a Fire Stick into each TV and then have it on 2 different TVs.
I have a Samsung TV, so the app is built into the smart TV, and it's it's just really, really slow. It takes like 30 seconds to open, and then there's no refresh on it.
Yeah, that's the only
problem.
And then auto plays whatever video comes up. So I usually get like some local weather report that at blasting volume just auto plays. But the Benadryl thing is a good segue into this weekend's games, because 6 of the 8 games are Florida broadcasts.
Wait, how does Benadryl segue into the game? You're going to fall asleep during these games.
Because if you have to watch 6 broadcasts in a row in Florida, about halfway through, you're going to want to gouge your eyes out. So you're going to want to take some Benadryl and Miller Lite to knock yourself out.
Man, I hope we've got a full slate of games down there, and I hope they figured something out.
So,
well, they did. They figured out a lot. They signed another all-star to their roster, but yet can't fix the turf of the broadcast. Anyways, let's move on.
So speaking of that, the last Florida game was January 16th, and the next one is February 18th. That's a month and 2 days or whatever. Do you think they're gonna fix it or not? Let's do our picks on that.
Well, I will say Hannah said yes.
That's true. I
You
don't
know
believe
me,
it.
I'm ever the optimist. I'm going to say yes.
All right, Hannah.
Well,
Hey,
I said no.
I just hope the score isn't like halfway across the screen, so I can't like
And
see it.
fraction.
They did fix that. My big issue was just the video sync. Like they had a different frame rate than what they were broadcasting on. It was like all jerky and just real weird. And
Yeah.
the line, it wouldn't be so bad if it was just a green field, but with the lines on it, it
right.
just makes
I
it.
think they would like get a better field besides those like indoor football, like turf.
When was the
field.
last time an arena football team played in that arena? Can't they get some green spray paint or something?
That's what they did. So when they
was
first
the
moved
problem.
in there, seriously, they painted the whole field green. And that was
Get a new
back
turf.
with the, I don't know if you guys were watching games when they had the black and white Puma or black and yellow Puma balls. One of the first years of the MASL, and the ball would turn green by the end of the game,
Really?
just from rolling on the field and things. And guys' shoes were turning, socks were turning green, and yeah.
You got to
Hmm.
remember, Lucie and I are infantile in our
I
fan.
know.
We're very early.
We're only
recent,
4 years in, really, and
not even.
we're
like
only
that
like
yet.
really 2 years into like loving the league. We used to be just
Yeah.
Wave fans. Now, and I will say this much too. I found so much positives to take away from the pandemic. I've grown closer with some of my high school friends because of Zooms. Our family has rediscovered game nights, and Lucie and I have taken the opportunity to get to know the MASL as a whole league, some of the history behind it, because normally we wouldn't have purchased a season pass. Normally we would never have taken a trip to Kansas City for a impromptu all-star game where we got to meet just about every player. So this is like, for what it's worth, if we're going to look at positives, this pandemic has made us like much bigger MASL fans. We've come to really appreciate the league as a whole, not just our precious season ticket holding Wave, which we've pretty much stuck to. But this one here, I give her all the credit in the world for a 15-year-old, who knows players up and down and follows rosters and looks at stats. I mean, she really knows her stuff, and so I'm pretty impressed by that and proud of it too.
Plus, she was schmoozing with all the players.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think like really going to that All-Star game really like completely boosted my love. Like getting to meet like, well, first of all, being down at breakfast on Saturday morning.
You should have started with meeting Matt in the first place.
Oh,
Yeah, why don't we back up a little bit?
But the airport, the first guy, that's why I asked if Gio was 7 feet tall, because we were shocked at just how tall Matt Huber really is. The guy's like a giant.
yes, meeting Matt Huber made the entire trip all the worth it. Right there,
Right there.
Yeah.
I got him. I think just left you out.
We weren't even
met
45
me
minutes in
before.
the trip, and Matt and I discovered how glorious it is to order a beer while waiting in line at a restaurant. It was so great.
It was a great moment.
Hey,
But
Dennis,
anyway,
is
go
in the
back
chat.
to
Dennis,
Lucie.
this is for you, my friend.
Oh, come on.
It's a
Jesus.
filter. Oh my god,
That's a filter. That's crazy.
It's a studio effect in Zoom.
That's
oh my
unreal.
God.
No, it's not really.
Yeah,
Are we gonna do that? Are you gonna do that all night?
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I gotta locate this stuff.
But after
Okay.
meeting Matt,
Yes, after meeting Matt, and then I was joking about it. First of all, we were in the hotel Friday night and we saw Max, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Max!" And then we're like about to leave, and here comes Nick, who I've never seen in person before. I have not really watched him that much in games either, because before I wasn't hugely like watching different games throughout the MASL, but I obviously knew who he was. And he's like this giant guy too, with like this huge structure and this like accent. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Nick Pereira who's right in front of me. And so that was crazy. And then going down to breakfast the next morning, and Danny Waltman comes like walking in just like casually. And I was like shaking that entire breakfast. I have just like a bunch of all-stars sitting around me, and it's just so crazy. Like, not to mention the Kansas City Chiefs are right next door too. That Saturday night. I
That
don't know
was
if you
weird,
guys
yeah.
knew that, but it's just so cool because like the different like interactions
right.
that we had with like different players, like Jeremy Ortiz, such an amazing and nice guy who I honestly didn't even know before the All-Star game, but he like was so nice to both of us. And like after the game, like I was going upstairs to my hotel room for something, like while everyone was in the lobby, and he like walked past me. He was like, "Oh, hey, what you doing?" Like instantly was super just so friendly. And then obviously Nick and Danny and Chris, we all got to talk to them, and Nick was like, "Hey, all right, like let's get a picture together," and we just got this crazy awesome picture. And it's just everyone was so kind. And it was,
Do you think we could tell him the William Venzela secret that he told you?
I think so. I think it's good now.
Now that there's no season, go ahead and tell it. It was pretty cool.
I always wanted to meet William Venzela. I think he's a great goalie.
Outside of the knocking incident, but then we saw him just outside your door actually, and he pulls Lucie aside and shows his phone and goes,
he was like, "I just designed these jerseys last night for the Blast because they let me design my own jerseys." And he's like, "I literally just sent it in last night. So you guys are like the first people to see it. This is totally top secret. You can't tell anyone." So he showed us like all these jerseys that he'd made. And it was just super cool, like for him to wear. Cause I was like, "Oh, I really want one of your jerseys." So he was like showing me all of his jerseys that I just created.
So outside of the marketing department, Lucie was the second person to get to see the jersey design.
Did he say then run after we knock on the door?
Yeah,
right.
Cool. So let me ask you guys this. So obviously the Wave aren't playing this year. So have you guys gravitated towards like another team that
Dallas.
you want to win besides Dallas?
No, you know what? I'll take this first. I mean, growing up when I was a kid, I was always grew up a Bears fan, but more importantly, I loved the National Football League. I loved everything about it. And so there are players from other teams that I got to love. You know, I was a big Christian Okoye fan. I love Bruce Smith from the Bills. You know, so I love the league in and of itself. Having become a Wave fan and just kind of be centrally located here, we started out by just getting like Groupon rates, and then we're going to so many games. We said, let's do this and let's get season tickets. So then we started to get to like other players from other teams, just kind of like by their personality. So, you know, we love to hate Derek Huffman, but we love to hate Gordy Gerson. We loved watching William play in goal because he was always like playful with the Wave players, and he just seemed like a genuinely nice guy, to be honest with you. He'd stick around and shake hands with the Wave fans and stuff. And so when I got to see some of these other players from around the league, and I hadn't been exposed to the Tacomas, the Ontarios, the San Diego players really, because the way the schedule's laid out, we were watching them play the Comets, the Ambush, and the Seawolves, and these players so many times. So to answer your question, no. I mean, I've just become a fan of the league to the point where I just love watching the games. You know, and then to get more in depth watching the KC broadcast with Nick and Eric. I mean, those guys they're genius at what they do. They're smooth as the other side of the pillow. I was messaging with Eric the other day, like during the game. He's checking his Facebook posts and he's commenting and watching the game all at the same time. I'm like,
he's mentioning Adam way too much. He's mentioning Adam so much, and that's the only downfall of his broadcast. So, although he mentioned Hannah like first and foremost in the last game,
one of the first things. Yeah.
And so, like, for me, no, I haven't really glommed onto another team per se, but I've started to really recognize the greatness of some of the athletes out there. And the nice part is, and I'll always say this, you know, if you would have told me 5 years ago I'd be a fanatic of an indoor soccer league, I would have told you you're completely full of crap. But to be able to watch it through my daughter's eyes, I mean, since the age of 11, she's been watching this game, and now she's 15 and she knows everything about it. And to see her interact with the players and how great they are with her and how genuinely nice of individuals they are. You know, I talked about how much we we love to hate Derek.
Huffman.
I mean, now the guy is incredible. I mean, he just a super nice individual. I mean, as far as human beings go, I know people dislike him for his passion on the field and some of the antics that he pulls, but we've had legitimate conversations with the guy, and I genuinely
He's a really great person.
Yeah, I take people for what they're worth, and I would trust myself with my life with Derek Huffman. I mean, because he probably beat the shit out of whoever's next to me. But
Suddenly we lost half our viewers. No.
genuinely nice guy.
In the park,
Whatever, you know what?
You know what? During halftime,
I actually messaged Derek before this, and I said, I'm about to go on the show and pretend I know about indoor soccer. You know what he told me? He said, it's all right. Just go ahead and speak your mind. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking a play out of his book. Now I'll let Lucie go because I talk too much about whether or not she's joined or got onto a team or not.
Well,
and I think I know the answer a little bit.
Well, going on off of that real fast, the Derek Huffman thing, two of my favorite players around the league, Derek Huffman and Drew Ruggles. That's a pretty known fact. Mostly because those two both have like this competitive fire that like I also have in me as a soccer player. And they're both great defenders, amazing players. Drew bickers a little
Lucie
much.
was 13 when she got her first yellow card for dissent.
And I told Drew right away, and he was like, good job, but I'm not going to condone that. So it was kind of funny. But anyways, being that Drew is one of my favorite players, I obviously, towards the beginning, definitely supported Florida a lot. And, well, listen, I said towards the beginning.
There's a caveat.
Shut it down. Just shut it down.
We got Ian Bennett, the great, the wonderful, first ever like love on the wave, obviously. Ian Bennett, Chad. We have a very special connection with Chad. Love Chad.
We like Ricky.
Yeah, we like Ricky. Drew, obviously. And so that kind of like, yeah. But now like I always say this, like, I don't like one team to be in first place, mostly because I feel like the wave should be there. And so I'm like, because they're not there, you can't be there. But on that note, though, too, when I went to the MASL All-Star game, I did fall in love with a ton of Tacoma players. And I just love watching Tacoma play. I think they're like such thank you. I really love watching both their keepers and net. I love watching just such like veteran players kind of play, more like older and experienced players play, because I think it's a really great just team altogether. And then the St. Louis Ambush have been kind of getting into my heart a little bit recently. I love a ton of I have so much respect for so many of their players. Like, I think they are just loaded with talent on that team, because you got Vadim Kojakov, Howard Jr., Stefan Mijatovic. I love Stefan Mijatovic. I don't know why.
That's the 15-year-old girl coming out right there.
She doesn't even go with Max, Paulo. She just throws up.
Max, well, I was getting to Max.
She hasn't even gotten to Max or Paulo yet.
I think Petricek's so great. We've seen him in a couple different places. I've always thought he was really great. Paulo offered my dad a beer at the All-Star game, so I guess that gives him extra points right there. I just JT, forgot about him. I didn't forget. JT, I think, is great. McGee, honestly, Jonathan Santos has always been like one of our favorites too. So like,
Shelly, I hope Shelly's watching this. Shelly,
I know.
For what it's worth, you know, like I said, they're just loaded with talent up and down. I just want them to see them all. I would love to see them put it together. I mean,
yeah,
because I think they could be really dangerous.
Yeah.
It's just sad they haven't been able to. Probably so the highlight. One of the highlights. What's that?
I said Lucie's got to pick a team.
It's probably.
Are you picking a team, or are you just saying as a whole it's great?
I think as a whole it's great, but right now I'm kind of rooting for the Ambush. I would have to say.
So you just made Dennis happy, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, so basically she likes everybody.
Oh, wait. Dennis is back. Dennis was gone the first time I did this, so I need to do this again just for him.
Oh, my God.
Be all night.
One of my favorite stories from All-Star Weekend it was like pushing 11:30, and that's late night for Cliff. So we were getting ready to head back upstairs, and down
After
comes.
being in a place where like we're totally not
We had
even
no
like
business being in right now at that point.
like coaches and players and
owners, we're in
owners,
the
we're
after
like-
party.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to leave, and just at the base of the stairwell comes Paulo and Benzela and Dantes, and
Vinny Dantes scared me at
just
first
a massive human being. Holy
because
cow!
he's huge and he's speaking this like really intense Portuguese.
Right.
When he's coming down the stairs. English is a struggle for me. When he's coming down the stairs.
The best Lucie, turn right. The best part was,
And he's
so,
like, hey.
there, William looks at me. He goes, "Where are you guys going?" We're like, "We're heading up to bed because we're just leaving the party." And he goes, "No, the party just got here." So the 3 Brazilians show up, and Paulo's got this case of beer, and he goes, "You want a beer?" I'm like, "Sure." So he throws me
It's
a
all just like a
Budweiser.
bunch of different
Just
beers in there.
random beers. Like, so the Brazilians were like late to the party, but they were like, I'm like, I couldn't even imagine how late it was.
It was
the night.
creeping. No, it was creeping on midnight. Like
It
it was
was.
getting close.
And I've seen pictures of Matt. I don't know what time he went to bed that night. But,
That was.
Right. so
Confidential, Adam.
Apparently,
what time did I go to bed?
the Brazilians bring the party late. I'll tell you that
Yeah.
much.
Wait, Adam, I'm sending you a picture, Adam, if you want to put that up on
All right.
the thing. So yeah, I didn't get to bed. Adam and I didn't get to bed until it was like 2:30, like 3 o'clock in the morning, because so after you guys went to bed, like the West was partying. Like it was crazy. There was pizza, there was beer, there was Shelley's moonshine, which was amazing.
The West
like-
seemed to be partying like all weekend though.
Brian Farber from San Diego, who I've never met.
Oh, look at that.
Cover a Matt's face.
There's Paulo, Vinny, and William.
Look at
Wow.
Vinny Dantas is a big dude.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
big.
Vinny was hilarious that whole weekend, because he was kind of like our little like detective, because he was throwing William under the bus. He's like, yeah, William would have done that.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yeah, for all
so
those who don't
it was
know-
the whole like West, like Paulo,
Love
Jeremy
them.
Ortiz was there, and it was just it was a party. It was
They're a
great.
fun group of guys. For all those who hadn't heard, I said it once on our live during a halftime show, but I did knock at least once on the door, and I just ran. It was very easy for me because I just ran right
Yeah.
into my, which is
You
right
didn't
next
have
to
to do the goalie diver on the corner or anything like that.
I love that video so much. It's so funny.
Gio loves it too.
It's
I have-
Nice.
See, I rebuilt my computer like
I
before.
mean, I've never seen the video.
What?
But you have.
I don't know where it is.
No, but that so that whole
Find
experience.
You're
was
the
just-
worst at Matt. I've never
But
seen the
that experience, that whole All-Star experience, and Lucie, it's the same for you. But I really hadn't met any of the players at all before that. I mean, I knew a few of them, but for like
Right.
Chris Toth came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I watch the show all the time," and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like all of these people
Okay.
are coming up to us. Adam and I are sitting downstairs, and we're like, just having coffee, waiting for our Uber or whatever, and people are like walking up to us, like Izzy say,
I remember
Yeah.
that during before the morning practice.
Brian Aguilar.
I can't look. What is it? Innocent until proven guilty.
No,
There
he's
was one
guilty.
guy wearing a white hoodie that weekend,
There's only one guy. I even have a picture of him wearing that white sweatshirt.
and you can see it right here in the background.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
and Elton De Oliveira threw him under the bus as well. So I
Yep.
mean,
Elton.
we
Elton
was
should have
super
William
nice
on the
too.
show. The next time William Vanzella comes on the show, he's going to admit to knocking on our door, because he hasn't yet.
Oh, oh, that's true.
Yeah. All right, you want to talk about the games?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
picks.
All right, how are
Do
we
you
gonna
want
do
to?
this?
Do we want to recap the games, or do we want to go right into the picking?
We can recap later if you want.
It's up to you guys.
Well, we only got 15 minutes left on our part of the show.
All right, let's
we
go.
started
Let's
late.
go predicting. So, Adam, did you put down Hannah's picks or no?
I did not. I do not have them.
Okay, I do. I have them.
So my thought was we don't write anything down now just to get it over with, and we'll write them all down and send them to each other after the show sometime tomorrow or whatever. So I
Okay.
can just watch back through the video and write down everyone's, because that'll be easier than trying to write them down now, because I'm not prepared, because it's in the
Well,
show.
I can write them down and send you a picture.
Okay, if you want to do that.
He has his whiteboard.
You fit
I'm
all
not
8
using
games
my
on there,
whiteboard.
all 4 or 5 of our picks.
Yeah.
All right, who's the first game that day? Oh, it's a
Tropic
Thursday.
Stars. This is
Thursday.
driving Lucy crazy.
This is going to be weird. A 2:00 Thursday game.
Yeah.
I'm in school still.
3
Yeah.
o'clock.
Are you
I mean-
at school?
Yes.
Wait, what day?
Oh.
Thursday?
Thursday. 3
Yeah,
o'clock.
Thursday.
3 o'clock.
Thursday
Our
off.
time.
Not good for Lucy
No.
because I'm in choir class and I'm like,
Mhm.
Dad, you got to pull me out of class. I can't do it.
And then you have a 7 o'clock game that day. Well,
Mhm.
8 o'clock.
I
for you guys,
am.
right?
Yeah, that's Soccer's Fury that night.
Right. Oh, that's gonna
I
be a
am.
good
That's going to be a good day. Thursday's going to be a good day.
That's one of my two top intriguing matchups right there. Soccer's Fury on Thursday night.
I feel like all these matchups are just gonna be crazy.
Oh,
All right.
man.
So my picker wheel says Stars.
Okay, hang on. I haven't even okay, so we're doing Tacoma, Florida.
So that's why I said we could just watch it and then.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. Here's my thoughts on this. Like I said, I'm picking Florida until someone shows me otherwise. And that person that showed me otherwise were the ambush, and they're decimated by injuries and COVID protocols. So
Right.
Don't worry.
until
You-
I see something different, I'm going to stick with Florida.
You will. You'll see something different.
I'm
hoping to see something different.
Actually,
Lucy, are you picking Florida?
I do have Florida.
You know what my thought of Florida here though is at some point I just wonder how it just seems to me that chemistry is going to get upset at some point when they keep bringing one all-star player after another and putting them on that team.
Which, by the way, congrats to my good friend Nate
Nate.
Bordeaux.
Yeah, well that's the other thing.
Number
We saw,
4, Nate Bordeaux.
Wait
you know,
a
a
minute.
year ago,
The Tropics.
Hang on. I listed the teams wrong, and now the picker wheel picked Florida for me.
So I'm gonna go Tropics because not Tropics, Tacoma, for two specific reasons. Florida has had recent troubles finding the back of the net with their shooting, and they're going up against two of the best goalkeepers in the league. So
Plus, they just added a defender.
and they just added a defender. So
This
and half of the roster should be coming back given the protocols.
Yep,
Yeah.
they just signed Elton De Oliveira, who finally
Exactly.
made it out to Tacoma after
4 flights. Yeah, I saw
yeah
that.
4 flights and
So I mean, you have Elton in front of either Waltman or Toast. Like that's Chris.
well, that's why I'm hoping to see something different. But
it's
until
gonna be a great game. Like all of
It's
these
gonna be a great
games,
game.
all 8 of them are great.
yeah,
So I'm going
So tough
Stars.
to pick.
Stars.
So I'm taking Florida. Hannah is also taking Florida as well.
So is picker wheel. So I need to put the name as they appear in the thing, and I did. So I redid it.
So
and-
everyone except Gio picked Florida.
Yes.
correct.
So like usual.
Yes.
Yep. All right. So Saturday night or Thursday night, Soccer's Fury.
Oh man, like so I'm torn, and it's not even a tactical reason.
And it's both in Florida, so there really is no home team.
No.
I'll tell you why I'm torn. Like I said earlier, I haven't seen the Sockers much. They've given up 8 goals. They've scored 8 goals. They've been on the other TV for me, so I haven't paid an awful lot of attention to them. And like I said, those 2 games, the Fury I've seen play were against a half of an ambush squad limping along on one leg. So I honestly don't know what to expect. I'm waiting to see, Childs come through. He hasn't scored a goal yet, I don't believe. So for that reason, I think Childs maybe gets his legs underneath him, and I took the Sockers for that purpose.
All right.
Me too.
I'm
Pick a
so
real says
torn.
Sockers. I think every year we've seen the Sockers struggle in the first 3, 4, 5 games.
Yeah, they lost to Turlock.
And right. And then and then when they struggle, they still win. Like when they
Right.
won the second game.
Correct.
But then they just light it up. So they're only playing 10 games this season. They don't have time to screw around
No.
for the
So
playoff format that has yet to be decided. Wait, let me check it. No, it still hasn't been decided.
Oh, no. Okay.
I'm actually gonna go with the Sockers because of 3 players, Brandon, Pino, and Sarda. So I think they're gonna be crucial.
Brandon
Also-
right now is what Howard Jr. is going to be in 3 or 4 years, I think.
Oh yeah,
100%. I agree.
he's so good, man. He's impressed me so much. this year.
Yeah. We're enjoying watching him.
Let's hear it.
I have Fury for this game, actually. I think I think their high pressure and their just ability to their shots are just like lasers everywhere. Or at least they were against that ambush team. Again, I would assume they would keep that up because I just think their offense is doing really good.
Well
Frank
said,
Taillou-
Lucie. Well
Frank
said.
Taillou
I,
had 2 bad games and scored 2 hat tricks.
well said. See,
Did he have bad games, or did Petracek come out like? I mean, the guy stood on his head.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I was, and again, I'm not going to claim to be any sort of expert here, but when he was in those 2 games, I mean, he was just getting peppered with shots, one after another, and then we were at halftime when Lucie and I did our little halftime break of the second game, and we each said, I said 6-4, you said 7-4, and it turned out to be 10-4 because at that point, I think, like I said, the wheels finally came off of St. Louis.
they lost. They were gassed. But
Absolutely.
so, Lucie, you have joined a great group of people here. So Hannah and I are picking Ontario.
Yes.
I'm going to take the Fury. I think the key
I
for
think
them.
it'll be a close game though.
The key for them is to be physical. I think they're the more physical team, especially with Frank up top. And plus, you've got great supporting cast. You've got Justin Stinson.
Yes.
And how do you pronounce his last name? Diabreu?
No.
Diabreu? Diabreu?
Abreu.
Not Diabru. So
Diabreu?
that's the thing I posted. Imagine
Diablo.
you haven't seen your son play, the parents of Mycon, you haven't seen your son play in almost a year. You can't see him play this year because he's not playing Ontario, although that changed. Now they're actually playing games in Ontario. And you finally get to see him on TV and you hear the announcer say Diabru 100 times in 2 hours.
Liete.
Liete. We love a good Martial
I
Liete.
think they would have pulled
Chamelet.
an age quit there.
Chamelet.
Chamelet. Renow.
Guernsey. Sam
Guernsey.
Guernsey.
So the funny thing about Guernsey or Guernsey is everyone in the Midwest knows it's pronounced
It's
Guernsey.
Guernsey. We're from Wisconsin. It's Guernsey.
They actually have GEEURNSEE as the pronunciation guide.
Yeah.
With the gi as like the you have to emphasize that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're like falling down the stairs and you're trying to say his name, that's what it comes out as. All right.
Tacoma,
Next game.
Ontario,
Yep.
which is at Florida.
Right.
I say Fury.
What is this? Tacoma Fury.
I say
wait,
Picker
Fury.
Wheel picks
Wait,
Fury.
Gio, you're taking Fury?
Yeah.
Me too. Or Picker Wheel.
Wait, are we on to the Friday game? The
Yes.
Stars versus Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stars versus Fury.
I have the Stars here.
I have the Stars.
I'm torn.
I'm torn.
I'm torn in all these
thing-
games.
No, when we started this whole thing, I said Tacoma is going to take the whole thing. Like, I think Tacoma's going to win.
I would love for that to happen.
I just wrote down Ontario, but I think I'm gonna change it to Tacoma.
Don't change it. Every time
No,
I change
I am.
it,
No,
I
I am.
lost.
Hannah went with Tacoma as well. I'm not trying to pick the same as Hannah, but I think Tacoma's gonna win.
Don't change it. Never change it.
Oh, I just did.
I learned that mistake.
Yeah.
I literally
Over here only because I'm not entirely sold on Ontario yet.
I agree.
I am, but I still think Tacoma's gonna find the magic. I think defense will win championships. Well, defense does win championships.
Does anyone else think it's unfair that Tacoma has Toth and Waltman, and San Diego has Pardo and Venzela, and right now the Waves going into next year with a giant question mark?
Let's bring Joey Capinos back.
Bring Josh Lemos back.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
please.
I tell you what, I'm thinking I like Josh. I like Josh if you're watching.
Please come back.
I'm trying to find
You
a
and the
way
family
to
can
like
stay with
build
us.
an addition onto my house and find a job for him so I can bring him back and hire him for something.
We have a spare bedroom. The Lemos family can stay here.
I need to win that lottery thing.
Just so you guys know, I'm getting really specific in my pick for the next game.
Tropic Soccers. Are we done with
Yeah,
the Fury
I
or
think
the
that's
Fury Stars?
Yeah, I think we're done. I think we're done with that
All
one.
right,
Yeah.
Tropic
Yeah.
Soccers and so Tropic's home game.
I have the Tropics, but I'm saying in overtime.
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm like getting specific with this.
what minute of overtime?
Probably the
Fifth
7th
minute.
minute.
Who's
Okay,
gonna
nice.
score?
Probably
Don't
like
ask.
Bennett.
Well,
Nick
if you
Vasos.
want to get specific, let's just throw it out there.
Don't ask Nick Vasos that question.
I think who I think is gonna score?
Who's the man of the match?
Joey Tavernisi. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it might be.
No, I want to see a Chad Vandegrift overtime goal.
Like
He's
you
done
did
it before.
Like you did in Kansas City a year ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So you want
Well,
to see
I literally said in overtime.
former Silver Knight and Utica City FC player Joey Tavernisi score the.
yes.
Joey,
Exactly.
make it happen.
say Bordeaux was gonna do it all, but okay.
Hey, Bordeaux.
They-
Yeah, spin the wheel of all-star players that are on the Tropics right now.
Yeah, so the picker wheel picked the Tropics too. The picker wheel's not dumb. But I think that's going to be, I mean,
I'm gonna go.
these games have potential to be really, really, really good.
Yeah, if I think 4 and 4 is going to be like great for picking games. I think 4 and 4 is going to be good. Gio, you probably see that. Anyways.
I have the Soccers because I think is that what Gio has? Yes. See, I don't know. Like, I think if a team's gonna beat the Tropics, it's gonna be the Soccers. Like, they're the San Diego Soccers. Like,
These games are huge for both of these teams because these are the
So,
only two teams talking about playoffs. Right now.
my evidence is they're the San Diego Soccers, so they will beat the Florida Tropics. That is
Fair
my-
enough.
Yeah, because the San
I
Diego
will.
20-1.
Yes, that is
I'm
why.
taking San Diego.
Yeah. And I think
Did Hannah
that
pick
if
San
it
Diego?
were, huh?
Did Hannah pick San Diego?
Hannah did.
We won. We could just call him and tell him that doesn't even play the game.
No. Well, just wait until the rest of the games. Hannah was tired when I asked her, so
And I was tired.
just give her a few minutes.
Oh, that's funny.
I think she might go into Geo mode here in about a few minutes.
Next game, Comets hosting the Sidekicks in what'll be the
Oh,
best.
you don't even have to
broadcast.
ask me.
Oh, Dallas, of course. Jesus.
All right, so
No
so I
wonder why
spun the
you go
picker wheel
0-2.
twice and it picked Dallas twice. So I picked it again and it picked the Comets. So we'll go with the Comets.
Good.
Okay.
Third
So,
time's
Hold
so
on.
wait. Gio, do we call him out on this? It's
Yeah, we
one
called him
spin.
out. Of course
All
we
right,
called
It's
him
then-
out.
one spin.
Then put Dallas down.
No. You
One
gotta go with what it
spin.
goes with.
The picker wheel picked Dallas then.
Adam, here's what you should
You
do.
gotta say I picked Dallas.
I don't pick Dallas.
Here's
The
what
picker
you
wheel
do.
picked Dallas. I picked
40
KC.
45% one team, 45% the other team, 10% corn dog.
Oh, what?
That's 90 and 10. It worked out. I was doing the math real quick in my head, and it almost hurt my brain a little bit.
All right, so Adam, you're picking Dallas because, well, it's one spin. But
Picker wheel talks. Picker wheel. So I
all
tried.
right,
I
what do
tried
you
to
guys
fix
think?
it. Tried to tell it was wrong.
Kansas City.
I got Kansas City. 23 goals in 6 games for Dallas. I think Kansas City's too good. I think Kansas City's undisciplined. If they stay out of the box, they're gonna win this game easily.
We're loving Mike De Silva.
Yeah, we love Mike De Silva and Adam James.
Yeah,
The other
I like
night,
him too.
Adam James was making soccer look easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I almost got De Silva's jersey.
Oh, I would have loved that.
well, we had a bid on that too.
Well,
Wow,
did
big
you? Okay,
judgment.
so let's talk about that for 2 seconds. Did you think the live source auction went a little bit too late?
Well, like our bid was up to 110, and then after that, once we got outbid, that was it. We were gonna go halvesies on it.
Yeah.
Wait, who did you bid on?
De
De
Silva,
Silva.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was me.
thanks a lot. Maybe we should have figured this out.
We should have. Well, I didn't win it.
I'll give that guy some credit. He has been on that team for 3 weeks, and it was the 3rd highest bid jersey.
Because he's a phenomenal player. To be honest, if Vanny wasn't here, he would probably be the starting striker.
How did that guy never see the field for the Wave?
So that's what I was just gonna say. So if the Wave didn't have the team that they had to win the championship,
Yeah.
if they had one more player out, he could have had his shot. He just never broke through.
So we didn't have Isaac.
The Wave was
Ricky,
up and down. They had
else.
so much talent on that team.
Mike De Silva, MASL in the bottle, was
Yeah.
a special guest.
I was a special guest that night. I jumped in just to say hi to the ladies.
I always miss it.
We never got to see him play. Isaac was kind of having a breakout year, and I think that's what kept him from going. But the Wave, like you said, they were so deep that year.
So deep.
And if he would have stayed and not gone to Orlando last year, he would have gotten playing time 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
But I talked to him a little bit. He goes,
I know.
it was one of the craziest decisions they ever made to go to Orlando of all places.
Yeah.
But then he's like, I just got to get out of here. I got to play. And then
Yeah.
Blast
Led
pick him
to
up, and
great
now
place.
he's in the game.
Didn't he score 2 goals in his premiere against with the Blast, right?
Yeah. And last season, he didn't really see the field as much either.
No, the guy's, well, first of all, he's a beast. And secondly, another one of the genuinely nice human beings you're going to run into in the major arena
Absolutely.
soccer league.
So
Just
the other
genuinely
thing
nice
is his playing style too, though, right? It
Mm-hmm.
may not match with the Blast and the Waves, where we're more defensive. KC has to play on the front foot, and that's where he excels.
Yeah.
So if he's not getting those opportunities, it's not going to work for him.
Yeah. All right. So let's do Ontario, Florida.
What?
Love this matchup.
You skipped one.
You skipped
Yeah,
soccer and stars.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go Soccers all the way.
I agree.
Picker wheel says stars.
Okay, hang on. So everyone's just doing their pick. Okay, so stars. Gio, who do you have?
Soccers.
We're good on time. Philly and Panda are watching, so.
Soccers.
And if they've ever seen one of our shows, they know we have no concept of time.
So
once they start
both-
talking.
Lucy
We have
and
no
Clint
concept
both
of
went
time
stars.
management.
Soccers.
Soccers. Yeah.
Okay.
I manage my time at work. My after work stuff doesn't have any time management. It could
I'm
be
usually
June
in
right
bed
now.
by
For all I
now.
know.
Because I'm
Time
like-
at work? I don't manage my time at work. I'm always like,
I'm usually in bed by now too, but it's Monday night and
You're in the box.
You would think like as a 15-year-old like girl, I'd be like up doing something, but I usually go to bed at like 8. That's on being a good student and getting a good sleep. And I'm still tired in the day, but it's okay.
Mandy's 17, and when I said, "Do you want to be on the show?" she said, "What time?" And I said, 8:30. She laughed at me. So
Glad I'm not the only
This is
one.
way past my bedtime right now.
He usually goes to bed at like 7.
look at this.
Ooh,
It's a
I
nice
can't believe
little-
there's
that's kind of cool.
Look at that, a bear with
What a
toasted
bear.
marshmallows. That's
Toasted
kind of
marsh-
neat.
That's
no-
weird.
Nice.
All right, next game. get all
Wait,
six?
you want to do
Yeah.
Ontario, Florida now?
I'm most
Ontario,
intrigued by this game. I'm very excited for this game.
I'm going Fury.
So am I.
Me too.
Picker wheel says Tropics.
Well,
Adam
you're
has decided to take my role.
I'm going Fury as well. I think
Fury.
this game I am the most confident on because
I hope they put
Florida's-
Pounding in Florida.
no, Florida's weakness is a physical team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Frank Tye was just going to run rampant on Florida.
Not even just Frank. Izzy. How physical.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say Frank. I don't know. I think more less of Frank than I do of Uzi because I kind of feel like Frank is one of those players who's like, will stand in front of the goal and get my shot when it comes to me. Like I feel like he's kind of like right place, right time, like for goals, and that's how he gets so many goals. Like I think he
You're stopping short of calling him a cherry picker.
But if
No,
you
no,
watch the first
no, but
game
the thing is-
against St. Louis, he was getting back behind the ball a lot.
Yes.
And then the other thing he does well is what a lot of team needs is a hold up play. So he's great on holding the ball up and
That's
allowing
true.
the team to get up.
He's great for their offense, I think.
Yeah.
And I just love I'm a defender myself, and so I love seeing strong defensive players. And I think Uzi is just like crazy, like a great defender too.
Did you see the replay that the St. Louis
I
fans
did.
are freaking out about where he like
I don't blame them.
launched Kochikov over his
Yeah,
hip?
I don't blame them for not liking
But
that.
it was like one of those remember we used to
missed
watch
that.
Reggie White like throw offensive linemen with one
Right,
arm.
Right.
That's essentially what Frank did. He just kind of like
It was
whipped him.
Uzi.
Uzi
just
just
went.
whipped him like a rag doll.
And what's funny is that the St. Louis fans are like, how did the refs miss this? And I gave a reasonable explanation. Like it was away from the ball and it was
Way
in the
beyond the
corner.
play.
You know, it was in the corner. So the guys in the box have to stick their heads
Yeah, don't
way out
leave.
to see. It's really easily not to be able not
Wait,
to
we're
see
in the
that,
box.
oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's really easy for
All right.
them to not see that. But absolutely, was that a foul, blue card, whatever you want to call it? I don't even know
Yeah.
if
And
it was
plus, Ontario, let me just say this before we move on. Ontario has that X factor in Brian Aguilar. All right, Dallas, Kansas City.
a picker wheel finally got one right and picked the Comets.
I say the
Gio,
Comets-
I swear, if you pick Dallas sweep, we're done.
I got the Comet sweep here.
Hang on,
You
hang
know,
on.
I will pick Dallas with you.
I'm highlighting.
I'm picking
removed
Dallas.
from-
I don't even know why
I'm
he
picking Dallas.
Highlighting removed from me.
Gio wants to go 0-8, apparently. So
Half my picks have been in line with you,
although
so-
Gio, let me fill you in on something. I knew you were picking Dallas. Hannah also picked Dallas in this game.
See, there we go, man.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
Hannah was
Fun fact.
zonked by that point. So
Well,
Doesn't
the only way
matter.
She's gonna make that
Doesn't
pick.
matter.
Me, Gio, and Hannah were winning.
whatever.
Exactly.
Fun stats. Dallas has 0 games versus Ontario, even in this crazy setup.
Really?
Yeah,
How'd that happen?
I think probably because of the fact that the league realized that the East teams were out and are like, oh, if we only play 10 games, we can get it done in March. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Not
Is it really official? Like there's no playoff
This is
start end of March?
I think this is it. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was announced that teams only need to play 10 games and both
Yeah.
Ontario and San Diego have 10 games.
So are
Yeah,
you speculating on how
I think you have to see all 7 teams in the playoffs. I think that's the best.
I would have to agree with that. You give one team a bye and then you match them up
There's some word
accordingly.
to that. There's some
I-
speculation to that.
I have a really, really good idea on how to do the playoffs. There's this site called pickerwheel.com.
Oh,
They just take care of themselves.
Florida, St. Louis.
So
all I'm
there's-
saying is I forecasted this, that all 7 teams were going to go into the playoffs and Dallas was going to win it all. So it's,
I think so here's what's going to happen. Let's
Picker wheel.
bring this back down to reality. because we're still in anyone apparently can sign with any team at any time for any reason for any amount of money. Here's what's going to happen. All 7 teams are making the playoffs. Simone Boses fires himself from being coach, hires Giuliano Oliviero, and they make a Wave, UCFC, Blast, Heat, Rochester all-star team joining Mudrin and Lipe, and they play for Dallas in the playoffs.
No. Well, let me stop you. Let me stop you right there. We've seen Elton De Oliveira go to Tacoma. There's big news on the horizon for a certain team. I'm not going to say who, but there's a huge signing that hasn't been announced yet.
Okay.
And I'm super excited. I'm not going to say it because I've been sworn to secrecy by this player. But that's not going to happen.
All right, fine. All right, so Dave.
But like, what if it did happen?
Yeah, what if it did
It's not
happen?
going to.
You'll
see.
We all know it's not going to, but don't ruin our fun.
Okay.
Picker Wheel says it's going to happen. So
Picker wheel.
We got LSO, Andre Hayne, Daniel Chamale. Come on, we can totally make a team.
Put all 7 teams on your picker wheel, spin the wheel, and see who wins. He's slowly doing it right now. All right,
Hang on.
I'm done.
Matt,
Dallas for the win.
Matt, Brad said Bo's going to Florida.
No. No.
Sorry, that was loud.
It's funny. So I told Tommy, I'm like, listen, have all the players go wherever they want. I hope no one goes to Florida. And what does Nate do? He just goes to Florida.
He did it just despite of you.
No, go to Kansas City, go to St. Louis, go to Dallas. Oh, here we go.
All right, do I have all the teams here? Somebody double check my work.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You
Yep.
count to 7? Is that tough?
In no particular order. I just want to make sure this is an unbiased spin. I'm clicking this.
You should totally put corn dog in there and
So
Drum roll. Yeah.
This is who's winning the championship?
This is who's winning.
yeah, this is the championship.
They
One
can't
spin.
actually have like a chance. Like they can't give out the Ron Newman Cup.
Hang on, I
Can
got a
they?
thought for that too.
Oh, you'll
Yeah.
be surprised.
So here we go.
I
This
will
is
laugh my
the
ass
Dallas.
off.
Oh my.
Yes. Thank you, MASL, and good night.
I'm done.
Oh, that is the most amazing thing. So, Gio, we need this corn dog moment tomorrow. Absolutely.
Got this.
Tomorrow. I
We
do
called
have
it.
an answer to the.
We called it. Oh my God.
I do have an answer to this season and the Ron Newman Cup.
Oh no! Don't say that. We're about to have guests that don't want that.
That's too bad. I've also had another thought. We could call it like the Ron Newman Cup Junior with cheese.
Oh my God!
Cheese.
You know, like bacon.
Like a Royale with cheese.
Yeah. So there we go. I don't think we have to do a season anymore. Corn Dog's going to win.
Corn
Perfect.
dog wins, as always.
Awesome.
Did we cover everything?
Did we
Cover
get all
all
the last
the
games? We got the last picks?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, guys, for joining.
Yes.
Thanks
Thank
for
you for
having
having us.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
fun
we
to
should
hear
make this a
from
thing.
other
Do
fans.
you want to make it a thing? Where we
I'll
do
make it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Well, just Cliff, not you.
Oh. Okay. Maybe I didn't want to find.
Look at Gio. Gio found that funny. poor Lucy.
Get hated on.
Lucy.
I'm only
Lucy,
15.
Lucy, did you even realize I put my name as Lucy Turn
Yeah.
Right?
I did. I
Okay.
did. And it was left, but I turned right.
Nice.
Good
The
for you.
worst part is we were in a parking lot too.
That's all you.
And you
That's
walked away
accurate.
from the building.
You should just deny
For
it.
those who don't know, we were
That's
going
all you-
into Chili's and my dad was already in there and us three were walking in and I get a text from him says turn left. So we're walking in and I turn this way towards like away from the restaurant and they both just look at me and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
my dad said turn left. And I'm like, but that's not left.
That's
Yeah.
not.
I was
That is
like-
definitely
and they're
not.
like not in the parking lot in the restaurant. I'm like, And then we just
It's
walk
okay.
in
You know, it's okay. We all have our moments.
embarrassed silence.
It's all right. You know,
At least we're not the kind of person to take a joke and run with it for the rest of our lives.
Exactly.
we haven't really run with it for that long either. It's been
Yeah.
what, 2 months?
Corn dog.
Yeah, close.
By
to
the way,
it.
this corn dog is up here because the stud finder I have apparently didn't do its job, and there's an extra couple sets of holes here. I was trying to nail it or screw
So
it.
is the corn dog a stud?
Kind of, yeah.
Stud finder.
We just hung up
We just hung up all her
my
soccer
soccer
balls.
balls. Kind of looks like
using-
Gio's.
Yeah, it looks like Gio's. Only hers go 3 across. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
bought,
Yeah, I gotta
that
get
a
a-
pack of those 3 things for Mandy, and she doesn't want soccer balls in her room.
those are cool. She's got her wave sign ball from the championship season. She's got her Epcot soccer ball, and then the one that
From
she got
Disney.
from the All-Star game up there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, thanks for having us. We'll make this a thing. Just let us know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
guys.
Nice meeting you, Gio.
Likewise. Likewise.
I suppose I have to find this link again.
Do you need me to send it?
Nope, I got it. Link sent.
So,
Well, I'm already in the. Why are you sending that to me? I already.
Yeah, but you're in the chat with, yeah. Do you want to join again?
No,
Okay.
no, I'm good.
yes.
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change my name again because well.
What's it gonna go to? Striking Fury? Matt's too funny. No, I'm
So,
really excited. Which game are you looking most forward to watching?
Fury Tropics.
Hang on, I need to take a screenshot of this.
Of Matt's hand?
No, of the picker wheel results.
Yeah, that's classic right there.
That's-
One.
No, but seriously, I think the game of the week is going to be Ontario, Florida. I mean, the fast pace of Florida versus the physicality of the Ontario Fury.
I think that might be the game of the week. I'm torn between that and Florida. Sorry, San Diego and Ontario.
Well, we should ask our next guests because they're
Yeah,
on.
we should.
Hey, guys.
Hey guys.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
We're
Good.
doing.
Thanks for joining. Sorry we ran late.
It's all right, man. We live in LA. Nothing ever starts here on time. Plus, it's only 7:47, so we got all night.
Oh,
Must be nice.
It must be.
It is.
Yeah, so it's Panda. Is it Panda Philly Panda? I mean, Gio had an issue with that earlier this evening, but
Just think of the alphabet. F comes before P.
there you go.
That's
Well-
the only time that's going to be the case here. So
I just went with
Actually, in the reality of things, Panda always is first in all things. I'm her coat carrier, her bag carrier. So that's how we maintain a happy relationship here.
that's
Hey,
right.
Happy wife,
Like-
happy life, right?
That
Hey,
is
that's
the
what they
correct
say, right?
answer.
right. Well, that was fun. Your last guests were great. I love that story. I love listening to Lucie. She has so much knowledge when it comes to this. Like I learned a ton from her, and just seeing the relationship and being able to experience something like this, as a family. I mean, yeah, it just really kind of made me miss my dad from back home. But that was so much fun to watch you guys. So I can't wait for you guys to have them back on, and maybe we'll be able to actually have them on as well and talk to them because they could offer a ton of knowledge to all this. So that was.
Well,
fun.
I think the person you really want to interview is a 7-year-old who is the best predictor in MASL history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happens to be my daughter.
Yeah.
She although this week she doesn't think Ontario's gonna wait. Did she think 1 and 2? Oh yeah, she went 1 and 2 on for you guys. So
Okay.
maybe not. I don't know. But
I mean, I
so
hate
how's
for-
the weather? How's the weather out there for the record?
Oh,
It's cold. It's about 66 degrees. For us, that gets rather bristling around here.
yeah, I think it's going to be 70 this weekend, so we'll be okay.
Jacket weather for Southern California.
Yeah, it's really nice. So I
Four.
that's like
Four.
4. Oh my
Four.
god.
Look, we feel your pain. She's from the Midwest. I'm from the Northeast. We moved here 5 years ago just so I wouldn't have to deal with the changing of the weathers, just so we wouldn't have to deal with the dandruff of the gods, aka snow. We're happy to not see it again. The beautiful thing about being here is if I want to go skiing, I'll drive a couple hours that way and I'll do it. And then later on in the day, I can go surfing, and it's beautiful.
Oh, must be nice.
But it also must be nice being able to actually like buy a home for a couple $100,000 rather than a shoebox for $350 around here. What am I talking about? A shoebox around here costs about $700. So you have that benefit. Lower cost of living is nice.
Is that expensive over there? Jeez.
Oh, don't even ask. Like you would probably throw up all your beer right now if you had to hear how much it was. It's not great. That and traffic. So I mean, it's a give and take. I don't know. The weather right now, though, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's so nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to touch back upon your previous guests. I want to give a shout out to Cliff. I got my plan for the weekend. Benadryl and Miller Lite. Never thought about it. Never did it before. This weekend, we're going to have some fun. Plus, it's also her birthday. So, hey, let's see how her birthday, Benadryl and Miller Lite all mixed together.
My birthday is on the only day that we don't have Fury or any other MASL games for that matter for us, right? We don't have anything on Saturday, do we?
Hangover.
No, there's nothing going on Saturday.
There's nothing on Saturday, which is my birthday. So yeah.
Why don't you tell the boys how old you're going to be? Huh?
I'm not. You
It's
never
the
ask a woman
Panda
for
sandwich.
age.
You've got games, your birthday games.
There you go.
That's right. I am an MASL sandwich.
See, the MASL knew this and they're like planned accordingly. We get it.
I really appreciate them taking that into consideration because, it's a big deal this year. It's a milestone birthday, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a big one. So, anyways,
It's 20. It's 20. Happy 20th.
It's always 20. Yes.
Couple years experience.
Yes, either it's the 10th anniversary of your 20th or the 20th anniversary of your 20th. It's always your 20th. So I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. So
I gotta say, like, you guys coming onto the scene, it's great. Like I think we need more people like you guys to support the league. And so how did you guys like come about this whole thing? Because you just started this year, right?
Yeah, so what it all boils down to is the following. I mean, we're big fans of the outdoor game. I mean, I have been ever since Germany won the World Cup in 1990. So we have LAFC season tickets, and I run a podcast for LAFC with my buddy JR, and it's grown quite nicely, quite substantially. And LAFC has a player that was a former Ontario Fury player in Adrian Perez. And so that was our initial connection to the Fury. And I'll be honest with you, fellas, we didn't have a vast knowledge of the indoor game. We heard of the Soccers, we kind of heard of the Fury, but it wasn't on our radar until Adrian Perez. And so our buddy, Bruce, I want to give a shout out to Bruce. I don't know if he's listening or whatnot. He has season tickets at Toyota Arena. So if it's the Fury or if it's the Ontario Reign, which is the AHL minor league affiliate of the Kings, he goes to everything. And so he was kind enough to bring us to a couple of games, and we fell in love with it instantly. My buddy JR is sitting in the front having a conversation with the referees, which you go to MLS games, that never happens. I think the Fury were playing Sonora. He became good friends with Rosales on Sonora, and we're sitting there, we're getting a kick out of all this. So like, this is awesome. And so the way we ended up getting connected in the capacity that we did was, so we run this LAFC podcast that's grown. The Fury were promoting a watch party when LAFC was taking on the Galaxy. And so we saw it, we promoted it. They thanked us, started some conversations. And then I just randomly hit them up. I'm like, does anybody run your podcast? They're like, no, but we love what you guys do at Defenders of the Bank with LAFC. Would you be interested? That's how the conversation started. That's how we are where we are. And since December 7th, which is the day we launched Stryking Fury, we're 12 episodes in. Mainly interview episodes, of course, because we haven't had matches, but that's a story in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't have much to add to that, but yeah, we're huge sports fans in general. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. I mean, I grew up with baseball and football, basketball, not actually soccer, to be honest. I mean, that's kind of, interesting the way this all went, but yeah, I mean, we saw the indoor soccer game is fascinating, and that, you know, a lot of the things that people complain about with outdoor soccer, indoor soccer actually feeds that need. When it comes to higher scoring, it's faster. It, you know, the structure of it is just a little bit more, you know, in line with people that like sports like basketball and stuff like that. They enjoy that. They enjoy the excitement of it. So, you know, I loved it. It was super exciting. And like you said, it's so interactive with the, like, everybody on the pitch. You're not used to that. You're used to being in the upper deck so far away from stuff that you're watching the screen because you can't really actually see what's going on, you know, on the actual field. And here we are, you know, just like talking to the ref, talking to the players, you know, the guys in the penalty box, which blew my mind the first time I saw that. Like, there's a penalty box for soccer. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're like, how do we get to be a part of this? How do we make this bigger so that people like us who don't know about it can also be, you know, there with us and enjoying this? Because that's what this sport needs, is just more exposure. That's what it needs. People, I haven't met anybody who's went to an indoor soccer game and walked away from it saying, it was okay. No, I mean, it's exciting. It's fun. And I think people just need to be more aware of the fact that it's out there and it's accessible. And if you like regular, like, you know, outdoor soccer, it so fits in line with being, you know, like with MLS, the season is March through November. And this is November through March. It's like it completely bookends your whole season, and it just kind of feeds your need. And that's what we loved about it.
Yeah, completely agree. It's funny that you say that, because I used to be an outdoor guy myself, and I was a fan of DC, and I would go to the games, and like the regular seats and all that were fun and all that. But when I started going to where the supporter groups sit, where they do all the singing, the waving the flags and all that, it's the closest thing to what a MASL experience is, right? Because you're as close as you can to the field. All the people are happy, screaming, doing whatever, but that's literally MASL all around the arena. So that's what I really love. When I went to my first like blast game as an adult, not as a kid, but as an adult, I was like, oh man, I can get used to this. So then I completely went from outdoor to indoor, and ever since then I haven't looked back.
That's exciting. Yeah, we love it. We're excited to see what we can do. I mean, it's kind of an abbreviated season, but it's kind of allowing us to kind of like feel it out and make a good plan so that when we hit the ground running, hopefully for, you know, this next season after this, that, you know, we'll have a good idea of, you know, how we want this to all go, and, you know, have some creative ideas along the way of what we can do also, you know, with our own like supporter culture and stuff like that. So yeah, we're super excited about it, and happy that you guys are all very welcoming, you know, for new people like us to be a part of this, because you never know how that's going to be accepted when you have new people coming onto the scene, you know. So
sorry, they froze for a second, so I didn't know if anything was wrong with our Wi-Fi.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Our Wi-Fi runs literally on a gerbil on our roof that runs because, yeah, apparently there's construction around us and they won't upgrade our Wi-Fi until they're done with the construction. So every once in a while we have to go out there and like caffeinate the gerbil, I think.
Well, but we have a benefit.
That's how I usually am. I'm running on, I don't even know what I'm running on. But so how excited are you guys that you actually get to see your team at home?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We didn't know for a fact if it was going to happen. Of course, there's speculation. California had a crazy COVID crisis over the course of the past couple of weeks. My wife's a nurse. She could tell you better than I can. So we had no idea what was going to happen. And so the idea was, much like Tacoma would have had it in San Diego, that we'd be on the road. And we were trying to find ways, all right, maybe we go to San Diego because her family lives in the Midwest, close enough to where we could catch them.
San Diego?
Did I say San Diego? I meant St. Louis. Sorry.
I mix those two up all the time. Welcome to the club.
Great minds think alike. What can I say? I'm a musician as well. I see all your bass
There you go.
guitars, and
Yeah.
you know, great minds think alike. But the fact that they're playing at home, it's really exciting, and it's going to be a series of games. I mean, from the 10th through the 14th, Toyota Arena is finally going to be hosting some games, which, again, we had no idea whether or not that was going to happen.
How are they allowing fans? That's the real question.
As of right now, no. And knowing the way Governor Newsom and the rest of the politicians around here do their thing, more than likely not. But hey, things are subject to change. I know the numbers have gone down, but that doesn't mean that we should be negligent around here and then just all of a sudden open everything up. I mean, we only have 3 games at home. Early on in March, we were going to end up playing Kansas City and in St. Louis on the road. So I don't know. It's tough to say. I'm gonna probably say that we're not going to have fans in the stadium, but we're still.
You guys should be there. I mean, you guys should be there. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion, but
I'm
Figure out a way
pretty
to sneak
sure.
in.
Yeah. And the good thing is, I mean, the small caveat is, Ontario is actually outside of LA County, and LA County has always been the one that's so restrictive and is going to be the last one to exit out of the tiers that we're in that kind of put us where we're allowed to have things. So, that I know Ontario has a little more freedom than we do here in LA County, because we're actually in Burbank, which is, just inside of LA County, and they're just outside of it. So, who knows? Like you said, everything's always changing. That's something we've learned through this pandemic is, just be ready for, I mean, we didn't even know we were going to have our restrictions lifted until like the day it was. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, Friday, this weekend, you guys are going to be able to actually go to a restaurant again and dine outside. Like we hadn't been able to do that for the last like 2 months. All we could do was order carry out. So it's been really strange, to be honest. And, I'm just so excited to be able to see a game, hopefully, live, if they let us come in and actually kind of report on the game. So
you'll be seeing a lot of us in various capacities. We can't exactly hint at anything just yet, but I promise you guys will be seeing a lot more of us. Whether it is on here, whether it is on YouTube, whether it is on Facebook, you will be seeing some more of us. I can guarantee that.
Good.
He's not streaking naked across the pitch, I promise.
Not yet. We win the Newman, that's a different story.
Well, if you do, let me know so I can put in a bet and win like 400. What was it, 400,000?
The insider information we need.
I heard about that guy though, and they so he placed the bet with Bovada, which is where I used to play a whole lot of online poker back in the day, and Bovada declared the bet illegal because due to tampering.
Well, that's
essentially
good.
He was the one who tampered with the bet. It'd be the same thing like if a professional athlete was found tampering with the score of a game, they would take that off the books. Vegas would just pull that completely off the books. So I don't think he got his money.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't? Really? Okay. Well,
breaking news here, but hey, I guess I'm okay with that because
So how excited are you guys that the Fury went 2-0 last week?
So
or a couple weeks ago.
We've been fortunate enough to get into practice and watch the boys play. And so, the big question was how would Palmer transition to his role in the Fury? How would De Leon transition? And I can tell you from practice, Jimmy Nordberg runs a very, very strict campaign. He puts those boys through the ringer. Condition-wise, they look good. So we knew coming into this weekend, based on the scrimmages and the practices that we've seen, that they would be out there and they would be on the offensive. And without a doubt, that's what they were. I think between the 2 games against the Ambush, they had 81 shots. They more than doubled what the Ambush had. And so Petracek had some really great saves. I mean, he was getting peppered, but that game on that first game where it was 5-4, I mean, gritty affair. Had the ball not hit the post 1,000 times that it did, though, I mean, other than Petracek, I would say the crossbar was the other MVP of that game.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It could have been a lot different. It could have been a lot closer. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. But
the game could have been over in the first quarter.
Easily.
Yeah.
Sure.
Look, when you have Frank Ty, you having a bad game and still scoring a hat trick, that speaks volumes.
He's a beast.
I think he had 2 bad games and had 2 hat tricks. I mean, for Frank. Now, granted, a bad game for Frank is better than 70% of the league's good games.
Right.
But yeah, watching them, just dominate that second game was like, okay, this is what I was expecting. And granted, St. Louis had a lot of players out and things, but
of course,
it's the way you got to play the games. And
But I think we all saw this coming. I mean, last season, Ontario was lighting it up. They were the hottest team. And if they had the playoffs, the Fury were the team to beat, I think. And you bring everyone back. You add on Jorge De Leon.
Yep.
And I mean, the sky's the limit for that team. I mean, you've got Charlie Gonzalez, Brian Aguilar, Adam.
Do you guys know this story?
Do tell. I want to know from you boys. Like I heard you mention it earlier.
This is a great story.
Yeah, we're in KC, and we're kind of sitting around in the lot waiting to go to the game. I think it was, or back from morning practice.
It was back from practice.
Okay,
because we were at practice.
And the rumor was that Brian Aguilar, they had no idea if he was going to show up or not, because they didn't know if he got on the plane in Monterey. So there's like this big question mark. And Matt looks over and sees two guys. Now, the fact that they were in red should have tipped us off. But
we knew Uzi Tayu. I mean,
right? Yeah.
Huge. So we're like, there's Uzi.
And he's like, oh, look, I think he's talking to Brian Aguilar. So me, like a dumbass, goes, oh, hey, Brian. He's like, no, Charlie Gonzalez. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. You're in red standard. Yeah,
the reason why is because he was wearing a mask and it looked like there was a Monterey Flash like logo on the side of it. So we're like, is that Brian Aguilar?
So I played off like, hey, oh yeah, I've only because I've never seen these guys in person, being a Midwest, East Coast or East Division team, and I'm like, oh, I just know you guys by your numbers and what I can see on TV, which is really far away and everything. So I played it off well, but I walked away feeling like a dumbass.
No, we sat and talked to him for 10 minutes like we were dumbasses, but.
I think Charlie's a nice guy. I'm sure he understood.
Oh no, he was great. It was great. I mean, we sat, like I said, we sat and talked to him for like 10 minutes at least. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Nice guy. I enjoyed him.
We gotta set the record straight. And Philly, you and I talked about this a little bit in chat the other day. How do you pronounce Mycon's name? Oh, say it one more time. You just cut out your Wi-Fi.
Oh,
get the gerbil going.
Yeah, you gotta cavinate that little schmuck. Seriously, he's not doing his thing. Mycon de Abreu.
There we go. So it's not Diabru?
Diabru. No. So the easiest way, just to even determine it, because I know we get the stat reports and they have the pronunciations. If you go on our Instagram post, there is a video of all the Fury players wishing people happy holidays right around Christmas, and Mycon actually goes on there. So you could hear it right from him directly. That's how you pronounce his name.
And it's funny because during the first game, I messaged him. I go, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do you want to just like go through the TV and be like, it's Diabreu?
175.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's been one thing that we've been getting on in the teams, and actually they got better. He almost got it right on the next game.
Yeah.
We talk to Shelly once in a while. She shows up in the chat on the show, and we were talking about pronunciations and things. And it's one thing that drives me nuts is watching players, because I made this story. I think you guys heard when we were talking to Cliff and Lucie. Like, imagine being his parents and not being able to watch him for a year. And then you listen to your name butchered 100 times in 2 hours or whatever. That would drive me. And with a name like Granatella, obviously I've had that a couple times in my life. Matt,
my maiden last name is Harnischfeger.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you can imagine that
Hassenpfeffer.
That got butchered a lot, and I also you can imagine in basic training. So I spent 15 years in the military, and in basic training, never got it right. And it was on purpose too. They called me everything: Hassenpfeffer, Haagen-Dazs. So
Haagen-Dazs.
Yes, which I was fine with. I mean, I didn't mind. I mean, it was fine. But
it's because she's so sweet.
I preferred Hassenpfeffer because I was a big fan of Bugs Bunny. But yeah, I mean, I totally get that. You know, you like to hear your name pronounced correctly. Like, you feel like the people saying your name actually took the time to figure it out, and they didn't just read it from something. Like, I think there's a lot to be said for that. So
yeah, and as a fan of the game, you almost take it personally when somebody doesn't get your team's players' names right. And we've heard 100%. With all the Brazilian players on the wave and Blast, and even UCFC, we hear just the most ridiculous pronunciations. I've suggested to the league, like, do a half-an-hour conference call before every game with your broadcast team and like one representative from the league, or even better, do like they did the video, just have every player call like some league voicemail and just say, hi, this is Adam Granatella. this is how you pronounce my name, Adam Granatella. And then have the broadcasters write down however they can do it. Because, like De Abreu, you aren't going to write it down like it's spelled. You're going to, if you're a broadcaster, they have all these tricks that they write it down how they hear it and how they want to say it. And just let them do it and let them go. So we're pushing that forward. See how much
the funny thing is that Friday game is, and I don't want to speak ill about anybody, but the boys there couldn't figure out who was Uzi and who was Frank. And the funny thing is, they said Tayu originally, but then somehow once they figured out who was who, Tayu became Tayu. And I was like, come on, how does that happen?
So it's funny that you say that. We have a good friend of ours, Nick Vassos and Eric Berger.
Those guys are great, by the way.
We had him on the show one time, and Nick was telling us a story how he was pronouncing William Banahene right, but somehow he got the wrong name and just the whole night was saying it, so he had to switch to Willie B.
They have, if you go back and look at the MASL podcast from last season, there was one episode where they had Nick on there. And Nick and Jeff Husted just worked perfectly on that podcast together. And they played the clip of him and they put all the clips together of him trying to pronounce the name. He got it wrong like 20 different times. And we always pick on Nick for that.
Yeah. So they say, like, once they hear the wrong name, it gets stuck. Yeah. And it's harder to get it out than it is to correct it. So it's understandable.
So are we gonna see Brian Tabaget in the booth, or are we going to see you guys in the booth?
Well, you're going to have to wait till March 10th to figure that one out. And that's all I can say about that.
Okay.
So if we're, never mind, I'll shut up.
I was going to say, I mean, you guys,
they're in the box.
Right.
We're in the box, right?
Brian seems like one of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Super.
But he sounds just so stressed when he calls a game. I feel bad for him sometimes.
I definitely think
I haven't gotten a chance to meet him. Well, like I said, you're going to have to wait till March 10th, so make sure you tune in. I believe the funny thing is when they put the times on the MASL website, the thing I had a tough time transitioning with on the West Coast is, all right, I know things are on Eastern Standard Time, and I kind of got that. I got the gist of it. But now you're going to throw times on there that are central, so it's like, all right, I got to think that little bit more.
Thank you.
So it's just like, look, keep it standard.
MASL in the box is apparently run on Central Standard Time for the only person that's Central Standard.
I was going to say, there's two of us that are on Eastern.
Yeah,
this guy
watching the box on 8:30 Central Time.
Because who owns the Zoom account again?
He's got a
who
point.
Started in the box?
He's got a point too.
Well,
so I'm just Geo.
I can't who started in the box because it was him.
The joke behind this is in the box was 100% Matt's idea. Matt was doing shows called In the Box for a while, like a couple months at least, if not 3 or 4 before we started. And when we broke away from that other group that we won't mention, Matt was trying to create the group on Facebook and his phone wasn't letting him create it. So he's like, can you try it? And I created it. I'm like, well, I created it. I own it now. I mean, it's just mine.
Yeah.
I've got a good copyright lawyer if you want to give me
okay.
Isn't possession 9/10 of the law?
Oh, that's true.
Plus the Zoom,
Don't give
account.
Him that. Don't give him that because everything's going to be Central Time and.
Well,
I got your back. You're a fellow New Yorker. We got to stick out for each other.
Look out for each other. I'm from Indiana, so all my family's on Central Time, so I always know what time it is.
Okay, so you said you were like a huge sports fan in the Midwest, like baseball teams and stuff.
Sure.
What are your teams?
Oh boy.
So growing up, a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan when it came to that. However, football. I actually grew up a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So
what?
My dad was a huge
sorry
fan of the Steelers. I know. I mean, he was a big Bill Cowher fan, and that whole team. I mean, come on. I was a huge Cordell Stewart fan because he could do everything, and I thought that was cool as like a young kid. So I kind of grasped onto that. What else? As far as basketball, I mean, I'm not a huge NBA fan, I'll be honest. We are college territory. IU, of course, Indiana University college basketball, which is actually where he went to college, so it kind of works out. But those are kind of my teams growing up when it comes to that. Didn't actually watch much else. Football, I'd say football and baseball were my two big sports. So those are my big teams, with the Steelers and the Cardinals.
As long as you didn't say the Cubs. As long as you didn't say the Cubs, we're good.
Of course not. I mean, there are some of those in where I grew up, but no, we definitely not. They were the anti-team for us.
Philly, have you become like a all West Coast team guy?
So no, I can't say we have completely. So as Amanda alluded to, like I'm a homer in the sense that I love my New York teams, and oddly enough, the bad ones. Grew up a Mets fan. It's my first love in this world was the New York Mets, the Jets, the Knicks, the Islanders. However, moving out here, there always was an appreciation for the Dodgers, just for the simple fact that I grew up. Like to get to my parents' house, you would have to exit on the Jackie Robinson Expressway. You'd see Gil Hodges' his name everywhere. You'd see Carl Erskine's name everywhere. So growing up a baseball fan in New York, you were very well aware of the whole Brooklyn Dodger aspect of things. So they leave in 57, head out here. And then had they not left, right, there would have been no Mets. Mets are Dodger blue and the old New York Giants logo. So I would have never grown up a Yankee fan. It probably would have been a Dodger fan had they stayed in New York. So that appreciation was always there. We got to see a World Series game in 2017, which was pretty cool. Of course, I rocked my Brooklyn Dodger hat there, but that's a team that we do have like a soft spot for, and we shelled out a heck of a lot of money on the new stadium for the Rams. So by default, we kind of have to stick with them that way. But as far as hockey, total Islanders all the way. As far as basketball, LAFC, obviously our MLS team, and then as far as our MASL team, though, the Ontario Fury. So those are our West Coast affiliates, and our passion.
Islanders.
Oh
yeah. Look, I mean, I got my Islanders slippers right here.
Islanders slippers. Right.
Oh my God! Oh, you should have told me that.
Are you a Sabres fan?
Rangers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, so's my dad, so it's
well.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Like I love the New York teams. Like I love the Giants, love the Rangers. But besides that, like Chicago White Sox and Golden State.
Really?
Oh.
So are we talking like Chris Mullin, Run TMC, Golden State?
Run TMC.
Okay. Then you're
okay. If all you know is Steph Curry, then we're not even having this conversation.
Yeah, no. I'm not a bandwagon Warriors fan. I'm Run TMC all the way. NBA Jam back in the day. I'm Warriors, like Mullen, Spreewell, Hardaway.
I love Mullen. Mullen's from my neck of the woods. He went to St. John's, so there is that connection. Not Penny, sweetie. Tim Hardaway.
No, but I'm thinking about my story.
Go ahead.
I had two posters on my wall growing up in high school. None of them were on Teen Beat, I promise. One of them was Oscar De La Hoya, huge boxing fan.
Okay.
Loved growing up watching boxing. And the second one was Penny Hardaway from the Orlando Magic. That I don't ask why, but those are the two posters I had on my wall. So, and the first starter jacket I ever had was actually an Orlando Magic jacket. And number 32 is actually my number because of Shaq. So I guess I was by proxy an Orlando Magic supporter. But
you could.
It was also during that time. I mean, it was the early 90s. I mean, that's when they were relevant. And I get that. And I went with what appealed kind of to me. But God, I love Penny, and I love Little Penny. Who didn't love Little Penny? Come on.
Little Penny was all right.
I love Little Penny.
I just had Iron Maiden posters in my room growing up.
I got a bunch of those around here. We got to see him play Bank of California Stadium not that long ago.
Oh wow.
It's pretty cool. So like a bunch of the LAFC people we know, they didn't call us, and I'm a little pissed off at Max Bredos for not calling us, but a bunch of our buddies at LAFC got to scrimmage against them, and they're they had some ringers on their team. But yeah, they came through, and a bunch of LAFC friends of ours got to play soccer outdoors with the boys of Iron Maiden.
That's
That
cool.
was our picture on our. I don't know if you can see it, but this was at the Iron Maiden concert that we went to at
Nice.
Vega, California. So
I was a
super fun.
giant fan. I was a huge fan. I grew up with all that stuff, and now I listen to funk. So it's just kind of funny how that changes.
Interesting.
It's the band's calling. So guys, to transition a little bit back to the MASL, what game are you guys most excited to see this weekend?
Oh, I mean, definitely Fury Soccer. That's always a good one to see. I think, we definitely want to see where these two teams are at right now. And because they've played, the same amount of games for pretty much. I don't know, what's the Soccer's record?
1-1, and we're 2-0.
Right. So they both played 2 games. So they both are just getting their feet wet. They're both, have, teammates that, they littered the MASL All-Star roster, during
Top
that
players.
game. So, I'm excited to see them. Anytime we interviewed a player on our podcast, that's always the team, that, they were like, that's our rival. That's who, we think about when we're like, that's who we want to beat. So, we think we're really primed and ready for this to come out as a win for us. And we're really excited about it. I know I am. I'm excited to see them. And also, I think Tropics and Fury is also going to be a super, super good match as well because of how good Florida's doing. And yeah, again, how highly we think already, of course, of the Fury. So what do you think?
I mean, just to piggyback, the Soccers, regardless of whether it's the Fury, whether it's the Blast, whether it's Utica City, whether it's the Milwaukee Wave, you're always going to circle that San Diego Soccer on the calendar. Historically, one of the most successful franchises in indoor soccer, period. That's a team you're always going to have to watch out for. And so, yes, I echo that. Historically, we don't have a great record against the Soccers. I think we're maybe 17-3 all time against them. We did beat them last season. So, there's that aspect of things. Tacoma, there's I think 7 players on that roster that once donned Fury jerseys. So there's a bit of an interest in that subject as well. But they didn't play Florida last year. So it's going to be fun to see Frank go up against Ian. That's going to be a fun matchup to see because they're going based on percentages as far as who has what position on the boards because of this crazy season that we're having. But the team to beat for the time being has to be the Tropics. Yes, maybe they took their foot off the pedal against Dallas, allowing them to get back in the game, and they obviously lost to them. But again, they have the leading scorer in the league. They have the leading assist man in the league. They had last year's coach of the year. You had last year's defender of the year. They're a solid team. With all these new players going to them, though, the question is, are they going to gel and are they going to be able to keep the egos in check and do what they need to do on the field? Because we saw with Ontario, you put all the pieces at the beginning of last season and it didn't gel right away. Yeah. It took a little while for them to gel. But now we're in the driver's seat in that respect because these boys have had time to play. Plus, we added Robert Palmer. Plus, we got De Leon. Plus, we got Chile. This guy got drafted in '96 when the MLS just got started. Talk about veteran leadership. This guy's older than I am. And I always get clowned on because I live on the 4th floor in terms of my age. So there's a lot of interesting elements with this season. But in a long story long, I'm looking forward to the game against the Tropics.
For the record, just to let you guys know, Adam is the only one that picked Florida to win that game.
I did not pick. It's the picker wheel did its thing.
Well, Corn Dog won, I thought.
Well, yeah, that was the whole season.
That was the whole.
That was the whole season.
Sorry, everybody.
That was the cup.
So,
okay.
Right. Yeah.
Let me just ask you guys this question. So you guys are Toyota Arena is your home.
Yes.
Right. Is there an arena that you guys really want to visit? Like you guys have watched MASL over the years. Is there an arena that you want to visit? Like atmosphere, like
so much about Turlock.
Okay, Turlock it is. All right.
Next question.
If you guys play the Soccers at home, you might visit them.
Right, exactly. We're Smurf Turf.
Smurf Turf. Cable Dahmer Arena would be kind of cool to check out. Pechanga Arena, obviously, it's right down the road. So that's a hop, skip, and a jump for us. Without any traffic, we're there in 2.5 hours. So those two would definitely be tops. I heard you guys
for
talking about
the record, let me just point out there's Smurf turf in another part of the country.
Yes.
Don't
You're
let him.
right
don't
about
let him
that.
We
bully
don't get
you
to
into
see them
that.
this year.
But we don't get to see them
We
this
don't
year.
get to see them this
Well,
year.
I know, but I'm just saying
But-
overall. I'm not saying this year.
Oh, okay.
In
I'm
general.
talking like Monterey, throw Monterey, Sonora, Milwaukee, Utica, throw
Absolutely.
everyone
Alright.
in the mix.
Okay, so if we're throwing everybody in the mix, I mean, I've seen pictures of the outside of Monterey's arena. I mean, that without a doubt has to be one of the nicest facilities that I've seen. I mean, Toyota Arena is great, but what they have built at Monterey looks pretty darn cool. And of course, that would be just a fun trip to take, get out of the country for a little while. Heck, maybe catch a Tigres game if we can at some point. Maybe obviously when that tiny little bit of overlap happens. That would probably be my number one, just because it's a beautiful looking facade, beautiful looking facility.
Would you catch a
Mine would be the
Tigres or
soccer.
Monterrey?
I just threw my wine on him. Sorry.
So
Sorry.
yeah, I got to take another shower. Thank you. What am I basking in? Is this rosé again?
I just blessed him in rosé, guys. So it's fine.
Hey,
Well,
there
how
you
about
go.
I bless you with some scotch? No, I'm not going to do that. Your question, would I want to go see Monterey or Tigres? Was that it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, like, I'd have to go to the volcano. I would have to go see Tigres, mainly for the fact, two reasons. One, LAFC played them in the CONCACAF Champions League, so that was a fun game to watch. Two, I really like Gignac. I mean, he's just an outstanding player to begin with. So I would say there, although Monterey, their arena does look pretty dope as well, but I would go Tigres, mainly because, you know, they have that slight orange and blue, which I'm kind of somewhat attracted to based on other sports affiliations.
I'm bummed that they lost against Bayern. I'm so bummed about that.
Yeah, it was a close game.
That would have been fun for them to win that. I mean,
Yeah, but they
no one
were
wants to see
playing.
Bayern win again and again and again. Like, seriously.
I spent 4 years of my life living in Germany. I did 8th grade and all of high school living in Frankfurt. My father's side of the family, they all live in Munich, and they're all Bayern fans. But being in Frankfurt, I was an Eintracht guy. So, I mean, you can't root for Bayern under any circumstances. Unless it's UEFA Champions League and they're the only German there, then I'll go for it in that sense. But I can't support Bayern. No way.
No, I can't either.
Back
I'm
in
a
MASL
Leipzig
stadium.
fan as of right now.
Oh,
Okay.
Leipzig fan. Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of good connections. You got. I mean, that Red Bull franchise situation feeder system they have is quite interesting. I mean, you can call it the Florida Tropics equivalent of the Bundesliga. Well, I mean, they do have an outdoor team. They've got a couple of feeder things in there. That's the only reason I mentioned that.
Oh, right.
Because the Tacoma does have a great feeder program.
That's true too. Yes.
They have a reserve team that plays really in a competitive level. Although it's regional, but that WISL, which is a regional league over there, it's top level competition over there, and they've had a reserve team there ever since they pulled out of M2 a long time ago.
Well, yeah, that's who they was. So when they came into MASL, they took over for Seattle Impact, and that was their entire WISL team.
Yeah, they finished off that season for them.
Yeah. So talking back about the Soccers, who's a bigger rivalry to Ontario, the Soccers or Tacoma? And the only reason I say Tacoma is because
the
Fury
history
and Tacoma always seem to be right on that fourth playoff spot, battling every year for it.
You want to tackle this one?
I mean, all I'll say is, we ask this question every time we do an interview to all of our players, like, who's your biggest rival? Like, which team do you hate the most? Which I kind of equate that to the kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, 10 out of 10 times they say the Soccers, and I don't know if that's just because of the California, association, and that's why they see it that way. But, I would say from their point of view, beating the Soccers to them, that seems like a bigger rivalry to them, and that's who they really want to beat, because they want to say, we're the king. We're the king of MASL here, when it comes to California. So I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I mean, I would agree. I mean, we're separated by 120 miles, if that, depending on what part of LA you're leaving from. So there is that regional derby. That and the fact that I don't think the Soccers view it that way, just because, again, the record indicates that they've pretty much trounced us on a number of occasions. But for us, it's getting over that hump. It's like to equate it to baseball. It's like the way the Red Sox would look at the Yankees. And obviously we've got the Sockers as the Yankees, not, I mean, obviously the history is there, but with them having beaten us so many times, I would say the rivalry is there. Yes, with Tacoma, we've had those different cusps. Yes, at this point, there's, again, I mentioned it earlier, 7 players on Tacoma's roster that were former Fury players. They now have Chris Toth. That's something that, you know, kind of gets us right here. But I would agree with Panda. The Sockers are probably our biggest rival based on the record and based on what Jimmy said, what Izzy said, what Charlie Frank said.
Yeah, they all want to beat the Sockers.
Yeah,
they really do. I mean, I feel like that's where they feel like they can say, you know, like, yeah, you know, we're here. We've gelled as a team, and you know, we're here to fight. You know, if that's something that they overcome, and you know, Thursday night's going to be a true testament to that statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
Hang on real
going.
quick.
Oh, go ahead.
So Brad, I just wanted to follow up on the thing you said about Toth, because Brad asked in the chat, how upset were you losing Toth? Because of how big of a position that is to fill.
I mean, it came as a surprise, and considering the fact that Tacoma already has a great keeper in Danny Waltman, the 2020 All-Star Game MVP. Obviously, you've got a talented guy there who. He's the kind of guy I'd like to hang out with, by the way. I saw like the little video that he posted over the weekend, him playing his guitar. I mean, I got a bunch of guitars there. It'd be fun to have some.
It's great to hang out with, by the way.
I want to hear your story, by the way.
All-Star game.
You told me a little bit. I want to hear about it.
So, well, we sat and we were drinking moonshine. It was moonshine from the owner of the St. Louis Ambush, Shelley Clark. So we're all sitting down there, and it was the West won. So all the Western players are down there, and I'm sitting there with Danny Waltman, and Shelley's like, "Do you want any moonshine, Danny?" He's like, "What do you got?" It was, what was it, apple pie and root beer?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're just sitting there, just shooting the shit and drinking moonshine. It was a great experience. I mean, all the Western guys were great that night.
Apple pie moonshine.
Oh, so good.
And I'm not a big liquor, like I'm not. I like wine, but it's so good. And I don't know what it was about apple pie moonshine in the military, but every time we had like a field exercise, that it always made its way.
You would have. Oh my God! Both of them were amazing, and
they're so good.
Just talking to Danny Waltman for 5-10 minutes, it was great. But and to go to your point, I mean, with Ontario, I think the key or the question mark for this season was goalkeeping.
Yep.
Clayson de Lima. I mean, he's
great.
been behind Toth for years. So it was a matter of time before he stepped into the forefront.
Yeah.
And we saw in St. Louis, he's a force to be reckoned with Chewy.
Yep.
Chewy Molina. That's a great combo right there.
Yeah, you got Chewy's veteran experience, having been in that position for a number of years. I think him and I actually have the same hairdo at this point, but I didn't steal it from him.
I think so, yes.
And so Clayson really, we got to see him in practice. I mean, he looked good in practice. So it doesn't really surprise me that he had the type of weekend that he did. You're right. That was the Achilles heel going into our season, because we're pretty deep on a lot of fronts. But I think now that this kid's got his opportunity to shine, he's taken full advantage of it, and he's got a great mentor to back him up, to give him some guidance in Troy Molina. So I think as this season matures, and there's really not much of a season left to mature, we got 8 games really, so that's not really a whole lot of time, but I think we're going to see some really, really good things out of him. I mean, we're homers at the end of the day. We're close to the team. We speak to the players. We love the Fury, but the one thing that we definitely feel is the X factor that it's an unfortunate set of circumstances, but it also adds fire and fuel. When you see the new Fury kits that come out, you'll see his patch on the sleeve. The boys are playing for Joseph the Jet Kyrell.
Yep.
So there is that aspect that looms over their head. And I know that's a motivating factor for a lot of them. I mean, Justin Stinson roomed with Kyrell. I know every time he goes out there, I mean, heck, he even wrote a tribute to him on his kicks for the other game. So that aspect right there, as unfortunate as it is, I think will be the X factor. He's riding this season with us. He may not be with us physically, but he's there. His presence is felt, and I really think that's what's going to help us.
His jersey was there at the ambush game.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I couldn't help but tear up looking at it. I mean, I see your All-Star Game jersey. I got Charlie Gonzalez's autograph, one that I bid on. That patch was there. You're going to see that. So I really feel like that's going to be the difference in terms of what propels us to finally do it. You said it earlier. We hit great strides at the end of last season. The only thing that won was COVID. Sadly, it destroyed the season. But the boys had more time together. They've gelled more together. And the new additions that we have, I mean, they're going to be great. This track record against the ambush isn't indicative of anything. Yes, I know the ambush were somewhat crippled in terms of their lineup. But I mean, when you have in 2 games, 81 shots, these boys press hard and they're very well conditioned, which I think, if we're going to go through predictions, is going to give them the upper hand against Tacoma. Which potentially could give them the upper hand against San Diego. But between those 2 teams, we're going up against, who knows, 4 of the best keepers in the game right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about.
For sure this season, I think. I mean, Silva in Florida is really, really good.
Yep.
But he doesn't, how do I say this without, I'm not definitely 100% absolutely not insulting, because I know players watch this and I get earfuls. So Joey, I'm not talking about your keeper here. He's not flashy, but he's like 100% solid. Like, I mean, he makes the saves, and his like, if you compare it to hockey, his positioning is so good. He doesn't have to make crazy dynamic saves all the time, because he just knows, and he reads the game so well. He just knows where he has to be. But yeah, I would say in the other 4, put him in the top 5, along with San Diego and Tacoma keepers. I could say those are the top 5 in the league right now, easily.
Yeah, with
I don't know, man. I mean, because I have a strong case for Neto.
Nicolau Neto, yeah.
So here we only have here's the thing with this season. We have 7 teams from 17. Every team has great players. Every team has great lineups. Every team has. So what I don't want to do at the end of the season is try to pick an all-star team or a team, first, second, and third honorable mention team, because that's going to be impossible.
It's going to happen.
I know, but you can't get away from it without snubbing people, and you can't get away from it without going, how did this guy make it? Well, we tried to do that last season, where all 17 teams were in. And once we started breaking it down, we we're like, well, who do we take out then if we got to add this guy in? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So to ask you guys about the Fury, what young player could you say to look out for? Up and coming play. Pacheco.
Yeah, I think he's poised for somewhat of a breakout season. The kid's young, he's fast, he's well conditioned. I think he's the player that I mean, to us, they're all young at the end of the day.
I was
gonna say. I mean, the only one who isn't young is Choi. Well, I don't want to say it. Choi
what is he talking about?
I was looking through this. Yeah, I mean,
Pacheco is my breakout player.
Stinson's your second youngest player, I think.
Stinson there,
and arguably you could say he's one of the best dribblers in the league. I mean, the goal that he had over the second game against the ambush, I mean, he looked really good. It's funny. You can tell. I mean, he's going back to his hometown. He's going back to a team that he played for. Yeah. It's kind of like when you're growing up playing sports, your mom and dad come out to catch your game, and you want to work a little harder to impress them, and maybe you don't play well right away. He had a decent game on Friday. The second game, he lit it up. And yeah, I wouldn't say he's going to have a breakout year, because he's had great seasons, but Pacheco hasn't really been on the map yet. And I think that's the kid that we need to watch out for.
I think
De Leon too, man.
I was going to say De Leon. I think De Leon's going to have a huge season. I mean, watching him in Mesquite, had a great year, but I think with Ontario, he's going to. I mean, you're 2 games in, so you've got 8 more left. I think he's going to have a great year.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, definitely.
Who would you guys like to see in the playoffs?
Ontario?
Okay. So here. Let me put this out there. Assuming all 7 teams make it and the first seat, bye. Who would you
That I
guys
think
like?
is the best way to do it, personally.
Right. I think someone said that earlier, and we were totally in agreement with that. So, goodbye.
I mean, who would get the bye? Is that what your question is?
No. Who would you like to see?
In the playoffs?
What would I like to see in the play? Like our first round opponent, you mean?
Yeah.
All right. So assuming that,
We'll have to buy.
well, at this point, I mean, if we keep on going where we're going, we'll have a bye.
You guys
So-
are the number one seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the number one team.
Duh.
right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do you expect?
We're batting 1,000 at this point.
So our first opponent will be us. We'll
So-
be hanging out.
So I mean, I guess if we break it down, so let's just assuming we want it to happen our way. Ontario gets the bye, and then we'd have what? 2 would play 6, so we could argue that could be Florida playing, or 2 would play 7. You'd say maybe Florida would take on Dallas.
So Dallas wins that. Let's move on.
Okay. I mean, they did. All right.
I love a good story like that.
I don't know. I guess if like things came out,
But okay.
I mean, Dallas is the one team we're not playing though, which is kind of crazy. They're not on our schedule this season.
Yeah.
Are they gonna fix their logo in the middle of their field? By the way, I just need to know.
So when they first did that, so there was
Were you
some
talking
other
about
logo.
that earlier when you talking about the green paint and the ball and
No,
stuff?
that's
that was
Florida.
That
No,
was
we were
Florida.
talking about Florida.
I'm talking about Dallas. Is Dallas? gonna
Dallas
fix
painted their logo,
What
and
happened?
they showed a shot. This was last season, I think. They showed a shot in some warehouse somewhere where they painted it and laid it out.
Mhm.
And someone made a comment like, "Well, when are you going to do the next coat?" Because it looked like it does now, and then all of a sudden that's what they have on the field.
Although I have to say the Sidekicks field looks a lot better than Florida's field.
Well,
You mean it's complete?
the piece of carpet underneath my desk looks better than Florida's field right now.
Right? I don't know. I'm just so distracted by whatever's going on in the middle there. There's like 2 things happening, and none of them are like really complete. So.
Oh, then you would have hated Syracuse.
Oh God.
I mean, for
Okay.
many reasons, maybe. but-
So go back to watching a Syracuse Silver Knights game from like 3 years ago. So Syracuse was sponsored by Dave and Buster's. Okay. So picture the middle of the field with the Dave and Buster's logo
Yay.
on top of a Dave and Buster's logo.
Okay. Oh God.
So it was like one on top of another. So it was Dave, and Buster's. It looked
Ridiculous.
like you were
I
tripping
feel like
out.
you needed to like focus your eyesight a little, like you're.
Yeah,
on
it was
vision a little.
really bad on my eyes. I couldn't really look at the middle of the field because it was like,
Like whoa.
I don't know. That
Yeah.
still makes you want to drink and play video games just listening to that image.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they were going for all along.
maybe.
But Adam found the picture, so you're in for a treat.
Oh
Jeez,
no.
Here we go.
So
Oh,
I still want to drink and play video games.
actually, I feel like I've been drinking way too much.
Yeah.
after
So I
watching
think
that
that.
Scotch is getting me
So Adam, if you point it all the way to like the left,
well, I gotta wait.
and,
I gotta
and up further, that's where I was sitting. Oh wait, no, wait.
wait. It's a
Oh
video,
my
so
God.
all right.
That's how it actually
Yeah,
was.
so I'm
Oh.
up, like I'm up, like
Okay.
go, yeah. So like I'm up left, or no, right. I'm sorry, right.
Okay, Lucy.
I was saying, all right, Lucy, turn
Yeah.
right or whatever.
Listen here, listen here.
From what I heard happened, this was the original logo, this ghosted thing, and then they had to
Right.
cut off a bunch of the turf for some reason and move it,
Oh my
but they couldn't
God.
get this whole thing off of here. So
So
that's the thing.
okay,
What's
so
wrong with
my seats were. Wait, where's your? Okay, so go northwest. Yeah, so I'm up that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So seeing that every game was like,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I feel watching like the Dallas games. I'm like, gosh, what can they do for that? Like, I don't know. Like, it's
Get a new
distracting.
turf.
It's still way better than seeing, like, if I was a representative or an exec in New York Life and I'd see my logo faded that badly on the pitch, like I'd be a little upset. At least, you know, the Dave and Buster's thing is somewhat legible.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
have
the
you
problem is-
watched a Florida game this year?
Yeah, right.
I mean, we haven't really missed any games this year.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, just watch a Florida game this weekend and let us know how you.
Okay.
So
We really wanted to go to Lakeland.
That field is.
Not great.
It's
not-
bad. It doesn't even reach the walls all the way.
So they have a frame rate issue. So when they play, it's like kind of jerky video and it just does this. But then they have the football lines on there, so it makes it even worse because then your eyes want to try to track to something, and you're just like you've seen like really bad cell phone videos of like NFL games. They're doing this and they just look awful.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're broadcasting.
You guys may want to drink. So
That's
you
where the
get, like-
Benadryl and Miller
Oh,
Lights.
Benadryl and Miller Lite.
Yes, see, yay. Are these is this arena football we're talking about with the lines and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
Over-
got
yeah,
she's got a story for you fellas.
All
I
right.
was a cheerleader for an arena football team from in Indiana, Evansville Blue Cats. We were an arena football team for a couple years, and I was actually a cheerleader for them.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Why not, right? I
So
didn't have
there's
anything
yeah.
else
So
to
the
do.
Florida Tropics had that. The Cedar Rapids Rampage had the
Yeah.
football thing all around, and
Yeah.
the Tropics. It's so bad. You guys are going to have a field day with that. I
I've
think.
seen
News
it,
is
but I
there's only
may
6
have been drinking. I don't know.
Yeah. Only 6 of the 8 games are at Florida this weekend.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Only
Well, if it
6?
wasn't for her birthday, we would have looked to have made the trip to Lakeland. I mean, we could have gone to Tampa or Orlando. I mean, Lakeland's like halfway in between the two. It would have been fun one way or another. But I think the last thing that I wanted to do for Amanda, other than take her to Chuck E. Cheese this weekend, was go to Florida
Apparently, that's
for the
what we're
weekend.
doing. He keeps telling me we're going to Chuck E. Cheese for my birthday. I'm like,
Hanging out
I can't wait
hanging out with the
I
rats.
can't wait to hang out with COVID rat.
I've never had.
Oh,
a
that's gonna
birthday
be
at Chuck E.
great.
Cheese, so.
I know. That's what I keep being told. I'm from the Midwest. Chuck E. Cheese was huge. I loved his band.
Have the tickets rain on you. Anyways,
God, I can't wait to play skee ball, guys.
Well, wait till we tell them how old you are. I mean, I wonder what kind of like free stuff we can
oh,
get
Billy,
that way.
Billy, no.
Speaking of
So
soccer.
I think all Chuck E. Cheese have like a football thing, like the football game where you throw it through the targets and stuff. You need to videotape that.
Okay.
Have Panda go for the.
Oh man.
Great. That means we actually have to go now. Thanks.
So
Well, yeah.
after next weekend, if the show is only Striking Fury with Philly, then you will know why.
Sorry.
Well, they also have a soccer. At the one locally, they have a soccer one.
You know what? We did that do you remember when we did that in an airport? Where were we? We're in an airport and we went in, and in the lounge area, they had like a soccer thing where you could kick the ball,
John just
and there was
ratted
like a
them
kid
out.
there.
Oh, I think this was in Korea.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
so. Sorry.
I think it was in Korea.
Yeah, last
So
year
who
I
would-
was in
who would
Italy
win
for
in
my
a-
birthday. This year I'm gonna be at Chuck E. Cheese. Thanks, guys.
So who would win in a shootout, Philly or Panda?
Did either of you play soccer, like in the past or at all?
Nope.
So the funny thing is, like when I got into it, when I really got into it, I was 10. I mean, I was a baseball and a basketball guy. I played all the way up through college. 10, I really got into it because of that 1990 World Cup. I was in Munich, watched West Germany beat Argentina, fell in love with it. Tried to
Legendary
put
game, by the way.
Andreas Brema, baby, won that goal, propelled them. Yeah, I guess that one nothing thing. It happened Argentina again in 2014 against the Germans. Anyway, so playing, we'd play a little street soccer back in the day. We would take those old school like hockey goals because we played a lot of roller hockey, and we would do it that way. But by the time I got into high school, I had moved to Germany. So I had no shot in hell of playing soccer with any of these kids because they basically came out of the wound with a wound.
Wound?
A wound. They
I mean,
basically
it
came.
is a wound.
That's true. They came out of the womb with a foosball. So I had no shot at ever playing. But I always loved the game. 10 years old, fell in love with it then. 12 years old, watched Eric Cantona kick a fan at Selhurst Park. Became a United fan mainly because of that. And then I've been obsessed with it ever since. You had the Cliff and his daughter the other day, the other segment on, and they were talking about how like, oh, waking up at 9 a.m. to watch a soccer game is a rough thing. You kidding me? We're up at 4 a.m. to catch the first EPL game of the day. So for us, it's no problem. We'll watch it all, man. We love it all.
Glory, glory, man. You're not.
No.
The Reds keep marching on, although they sucked today or yesterday.
I'm an
They
Arsenal
sucked.
fan. Don't talk to me about sucking right
Oh
now.
no! Get
Wait,
her
you're an
off.
Arsenal fan? Ugh.
I'm a gunner.
Ask her why. Ask her why.
No, I don't care.
ask me
So
why.
Philly, let me just tell you this. So I have FIFA 21. So my first order of business in the manager mode, I'm Man United's manager. First thing I did, signed Adrian Perez.
Oh, you told me that.
God.
You told me that.
I did. Okay.
What's his FIFA 21 rating?
It's not good, but it's like 60. Which
Okay,
is
that's better than I thought. I was assuming like a 57.
no. He's gonna start for me. He's gonna beat Arsenal.
You bring up Adrian Perez. Like I gotta say, like with the other podcasts that we have for that club, we do have the privilege of getting press passes there, and so we got to catch a couple of the games close to the fans. When there was one when LAFC played Peñarol at the beginning of last season, the Uruguayan giant, he had a goal. Adrian Perez looked great. Preseason, he looked great. We thought, all right, he's not going to crack the starting lineup because he's got to go against Diego Rossi, Carlos Vela, Brian Rodriguez. All collectively, these guys are probably worth a good $30 million at the very least in terms of transfer market. But we thought there would be a good chance that we would get to see him on the pitch a little more. Sadly, he got hurt. I think something happened with his confidence, and then the season went downhill for him. However, I am happy that that DC United picked him up in the re-entry draft. So I hope I wish him well. He's a nice kid. He's a hell of a player. He almost worked out for us, but hopefully he gets enough burn on DC United to really make a statement. And he's just a great ambassador for the indoor game itself. Although I will say there was an article I came across talking about him going to DC United, and the schmuck writer who penned that piece said that he played for the Ottawa Fury. Yeah, I get it. It's close. The colors might be the same. Wrong team.
Wrong country.
Wrong country. Yes.
Wrong
little off.
Yeah.
Little bit.
I mean,
Just a bit outside.
Ottawa, Ontario, yeah, but no.
I think they were thinking Ontario, Canada.
No. Oh, totally. I mean, I thought that the first time I heard Ontario.
So did I.
I
Yeah,
think
first
so.
time when the leagues
Yeah.
merged.
Do you know how
I
many
didn't know
times-
much about the PASL at that point at all. So I heard Ontario. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a Canada team now too.
I've heard a bunch of people, honestly, like more than a few, who've actually booked flights to fly places
Whoops.
out of Ontario, and it ended up being in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
boy.
you know what
Get
happened?
out.
Yeah, because Canada is what, like 45
It's probably
minutes away?
Arsenal.
It's right around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. So it happens. I mean, people aren't thinking, and
No,
I get
It's probably Arsenal fans that did that. But anyways,
Wow, that's where we're at now. I get it. Okay.
I will say the last time we got to go to London was 2017, and we managed to cop some we managed to cop a ticket to see Arsenal's final match of the season at the Emirates against Everton in 17. She loves Olivier Giroud. So I don't know whether she's more of an Arsenal supporter at this point or a Chelsea supporter, but she loves.
yeah, exactly.
I actually love Giroud and
But-
Wilshire, and neither one of them
Jack
are on the
Wil-
team anymore.
That's the reason why she likes Arsenal, fellas, is because of Jack Wilshire.
He's really cute.
Jack Wilshire.
Paper Jack.
Yeah,
he
but
was
Jack
really cute.
Wilshere was always hurt when you needed him.
Paper Jack. I know. He
So
always.
Derrick Rose of the Premier League.
No, I get it. Doesn't mean he wasn't cute.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess the one question that I did see on the YouTube on the live chat that I did want to address. Yeah, we are bummed out, going back to MASL. We are bummed out about losing Toth. However, I will say just getting to see a young kid like Clayson DeLima get to play, it's a good thing. He's taken to the role of being the number one. He's working his tail off, and I really think he's going to be. I mentioned Pacheco, the breakout player, but I also will want to say you keep your eyes on him. I think he could have a good year as well.
Well, absolutely. With Chewy and he played for San Diego, Harrisburg. Like, I've been a fan of Clayson for a while, and when they signed Toth, I'm like, what's going to happen to Clayson DeLima? And now that Toth is gone, I think the big question is, and I think we saw it against St. Louis, what is DeLima going to do against the entire league? And we saw he was great.
He was, but between the two games, there was only 31 shots taken at him.
But
so
still,
we'll see what happens in these next set of games.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, with that defense, with Uzi back there, he's a brick wall.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, but I
6'1",
mean,
200 pounds, and that's what they list him at.
Well, you got people like Goncalves and Topete. They're just so big. I mean, they just take players out. I mean, I'm curious to see if anybody can even get those shots on goal at that point. I mean, to be honest, they're what?
You saw Goncalves on Saturday. He killed a man.
We said that on a podcast. Like, I think I saw his soul leave his body.
Yeah, I
and then
heard that, yeah.
and then the bench was like, no, we don't have enough players, so you need to get back over there and like try again.
Yeah, they were about ready to raffle off roster spots.
I still think Stinson killed the guy more than.
Oh, I mean, he put him in his back pocket. Oh, it was embarrassing. I mean, he broke ankles. He broke hearts. He broke ankles. He set a trend on that. I mean, again, another super nice kid. A lot of people don't know, like when he was in his youth. I mean, he went to the West Ham Youth Academy for a little while. And that West Ham Youth Academy has produced some unbelievable players, obviously. Now, he didn't stick around, but just to get the type of tutelage that he did, to get some of the tools to come back to the U.S., it obviously translated really well to his game right now.
I've never heard you use the word tutelage. I'm just going to put that out there.
Were we playing bingo, or is it
I don't know, but did you have like word of the day toilet paper today or something?
It's the effect of in the box.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the corn dog that was on display, and you guys mentioned this earlier, but we got a kick out of it during that KC game. We're like, oh, that's pretty.
We had nothing
goal.
to do with that.
Yeah, that
it was also
uh,
behind the goal that one game. Remember? I was like, look, there's a corn dog, and we're like,
Yeah.
is that where they went? Is that why no one?
If you watch, what game was it that San Diego
it was
St.
San
Louis,
Diego.
St. Louis and
was that San Diego, Ontario?
There was one
haven't
game in the
played
San
them
Diego
yet.
game last year where they had a 6-foot inflatable corn dog. And
Oh,
and
yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
And they mentioned it.
that's exciting.
So we need to design a corn dog that's like black and white, like a panda, like have like the panda eyes.
All we have is Striker. Sorry.
And Ontario Fury Kane.
We've got Kane because wrestling. We're big fans of WWE also. If anybody wants to throw that in there.
And we're big fans of it all. If it's Australian rules football, we'll watch it. If it's cricket, we'll watch it. If it's freaking
Really?
NASCAR,
Australian rules football. Who's your team?
Melbourne Kangaroos.
Well, that's North Melbourne, the Kangaroos. There's 4 teams in Melbourne.
Okay.
So I used
That's
to watch.
Essendon
I used to
for me.
watch Australian rules football. My team was Essendon.
Essendon, yeah, I got an Essendon jersey. So we went to Marvel Stadium a year ago. You'll appreciate this, by the way.
We went to Australia.
By the way, they have some of the best jerseys.
Oh, he has all the jerseys. So to say he has the best means nothing. He has all of them. So of course they're going to be the best at some point to someone.
But no, I was a huge fan of Essendon.
But yes, he does.
I got the Bombers jersey right in my closet.
The Bombers.
I've tried to watch that
Yes.
a couple of times and I have no idea what's going on. There's just whistles all over the place and they run and then they stop and then there's like, oh, and one guy and they arms up in the air and then the arms here and it's okay.
Or
My
when they
favorite
nip
is
the
when they
guy.
do the six.
Yes. They like jump on their like shoulders and like propel themselves into the air. Come on.
I love the refs where they're like, even like when they score like 1 point, it's like
You.
Look, it's utter chaos at the end of the day, but the athleticism that goes into it is incredible. I mean,
Sure, yeah.
I love the NFL. I love so many different sports, and rugby was fun too.
AFL.
You got to get through like rugby league and rugby union and learn all those different rules, and then you watch the AFL guys, and you got a 7-footer going up against a dude who's 5'2". It's insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, you can't tell. We just love sports.
Yeah, this MASL podcast has come off the rails. We're talking about
I
it all
know.
tonight, baby.
Usually someone keeps them off the rails. I'm not good at that because I go even further off the rails sometimes.
Yeah, we have a big problem of getting distracted and going off tangents. So
That's
Yeah,
it.
that is if we have a topic or
That's all
something.
you. That's all you.
Yeah.
no, that's more mainly Adam.
What?
All right. So how do we get it back on the rails to where we need to talk about what we need to talk about?
Well, first
Well,
thing
no, seriously. So outside of the Fury, who do you guys enjoy watching as far as like gameplay or just strategic wise?
Like MASL wise?
we're still talking about
Exactly.
indoor soccer. We're not talking about like Aussie rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
MASL.
Okay.
I was gonna
MASL.
say, that's a big net you're casting at that point if it's not just that.
No, MASL.
You know, I mean, we're so new to it. That's hard to say. And what we've been exposed to hasn't really been what normal teams are like, to be honest. I mean, I got sucked in by the Fury and just because I was there at the atmosphere. So far this year, just watching, you know, I've really enjoyed, I don't want to say the tropics because I'm going to get, which one of you is going to hate me?
Maybe all three of us.
All three of us. I think it's going to be all three of us.
Okay, I've enjoyed watching the tropics because one, Ian Bennett, and he also follows me on Instagram, so that's fun. And
Okay,
he also,
well.
can someone get him a new picture, by the way, out there? Because whatever picture is out there for Ian Bennett for the tropics is like this weird,
On
like,
the MASL
yeah,
website,
if you look on the MASL website, his picture for anything
Oh,
tropics
yeah.
related is really bizarre. Look it up. You're gonna be like, yeah, that does not give a good.
Adam, do you want to? He's messaging him now.
I'll get
We're
that.
really good friends with him. So we
He
had him on the
totally
show,
is.
right?
Yeah,
So
I
did you
saw
guys-
the
so
show. It
speaking
was
of-
on.
So speaking of Ian Bennett, did you guys see what happened a few weeks ago when Adam and Gio had Ian Bennett on?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
watched the
yeah,
show.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
So you saw the school teacher, right?
Yeah.
That had me laughing for a week straight.
That was the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
Well, message him and ask him to lobby for a new picture because he's way better than that weird, like, goofy picture that they put on him.
Which
Like
picture?
every
is
time
it?
I see it, it makes me laugh. Just look at it; you'll see it.
Which,
which
The
and
one
I'll-
with the wave jersey?
I think it's the most like if you look at like the news, it's the very first thing on the MASL.
I mean, I'll show you. I mean,
It's not always
it's
kind of like
about that.
it's they caught him in a
kind of in a weird space.
in a state of euphoria. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Geez, at the end of the day,
it's this one. I don't know what you can see.
a glare. That's what they can see,
I don't know.
and it just changed. They don't see anything.
Oh
Rob.
shit! Shoot! I will find it.
It's all right. I'm supposed to be changing all
oh,
the.
yeah, with the weird look on his
dog.
face and his arms out like
Yeah,
this.
he's like,
Yeah.
yeah. He made a comment. He's like, okay, now this picture, and I agreed. I'm like, it's not. Yeah, like you're way better than that. And
Cool
I don't know.
pictures like
Ruggles, like,
So
what'd you say?
I said 10 out of 10 school teachers like it.
But how many nurses like it? Because
Yeah.
you got to ask that question too. You got a nurse in the house.
Again,
I don't know. No nurses interrupted his interview.
That was that was one of the best
Shoot,
moments
I
ever.
can't say that. That's gonna sound really insensitive. If I say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, if you think it's going to, we know.
What time was the interview?
No. What time was it? What do you mean?
I'm just saying. He said none interrupted the interview.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, we were probably working till like 7:30 p.m.
So to answer your question from my front, I have enjoyed the St. Louis Ambush. That's a team I have enjoyed. They've got some really good players on there. I don't know why so Kojakov, for example, the guy was born in Moldova. And the reason I even bring this up is because my family's Romanian. All right. They speak Romanian in Moldova. I don't come across anybody that speaks Romanian. So the fact that he lived there till he was 11, then he moved to Ireland and somehow found his way to the Midwest, it kind of blows my mind. So when I read his story, doing a little bit of research on him, stuck around, did, a little bit of homework on him. And then, of course, you got JT Thomas. So in my closet, I have a Scunthorpe United jersey. So JT Thomas, Scunthorpe's Youth Academy. And he's from Doncaster, England. Doncaster Rovers. I got that jersey in the closet too. So just based on these stupid little connections, and obviously you got Max Ferdinand on there. Tony Walsh is another player. So they interested me just based on that aspect of things. Oh, Corey Adamson, another kid that bicycle goal that he had last weekend. I mean, that was outstanding.
Yeah.
They have some really talented kids on that team. So Florida's Florida. I mean, to me, it's like at this point, rooting for the Patriots or like the Chicago Bulls of the 90s. So like to me, I'm going to take the team, the lesser of the evils, and go with the ambush.
It's good to hear.
No, anyone, anything besides Florida, I'm fine with.
We should probably stop saying that.
Yeah. So
No, seriously, I
We're
think
gonna give
No,
this
I
so
get
much
that.
I'm gonna say
they're gonna win.
I'm gonna say either Tacoma or Ontario is gonna win the whole thing. Based on my name.
That's all I heard.
I don't know if anyone's noticed my name yet, but
yeah.
Ontario what?
Ontario.
So you've heard that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, have you heard the song for Ontario Fury?
It's catchy.
Dude, it's so catchy, and I don't know what it is, but we can't stop playing it. And do you know who the guy is who
Thank you for
sang
bringing
it?
this up.
Do you know who that is?
No, I heard, I listened to your podcast. It was a boy band, O-Town.
Yeah.
That's so good. It is.
He's going to be on the pod, by the way. I've already had a conversation with him, thanking him for allowing us to use the song. And we're going to bring back all kinds of like 90s feels for those old enough to remember bands like O-Town by having him on the show.
They were
He's
like
a
2000
fan.
or whatever.
No, they were in the okay, fine, late 90s, early 2000s.
Wait,
Wait,
was it the song that I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch?
Oh no,
Yeah.
no.
Yes, it was.
No, New Kids on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese. No, that's not them.
Oh.
It's
Who was that then?
Oh no, wait, was it
LFO.
No, it was.
LFO?
Maybe that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. He
You
was
guys lost me
Liquid
there.
Dreams. Yeah, they were Liquid Dreams.
A Liquid Dream.
That's
Okay.
a very dirty term on a family-friendly show, my dear.
Stop.
This is not a family-friendly show.
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
not?
you must not know Adam.
Oh, I've been censoring myself. I'm sorry.
This is not. This is the live version. The edited version that I post is typically edited out.
Which Gio, you have to make it like every time we swear there has to be a corn dog in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So the issue, right? So the issue is I have to find that.
No, Adam, do you remember this? Adam, you go, everyone say the word corn dog.
Yeah, we did it. Wait, he has to find where we did that in that video.
Exactly.
remember what
That's
week
the
that was or
problem.
whatever.
I don't remember how many weeks ago that was.
Well,
That
you
was
got
like
some
3
work to
weeks
do.
ago.
This is the problem with having an in-house editor. Yes.
Same. We have that too. How do we get a corn dog, by the way?
We're working on that.
All right, I got an idea. We'll trade you several of these and perhaps a striker for some corn dogs. How's that? That's fair, right?
That's a fair deal.
That's
All right.
I'm in.
You want to make the pot sweeter? We may throw in an Ontario Fury cane in there.
I will
as
throw
well.
in
How
an
did
Angel
that happen?
City.
Ontario Fury cane?
Yeah.
I had a sticker and he was red and black, so I just put it on him and there you go.
And we have Ontario Fury Cane.
There you
Ontario
go.
Fury.
Nice.
Well, you guys make that happen. But they need to have a corn dog. I think.
I
Yeah.
would love
should.
a corn dog in so many different ways right now.
So
But yes.
so maybe and I'll tell you guys this a little bit, but like on March 10th there might be a surprise. If there's a corn dog available by March 10th, you might see it
It might
somewhere.
make its way on the broadcast.
We will make that happen. We will make that happen
Matt just
ASAP.
vanishes instantly. He's like, I'm
You
going
know
for
what?
that one.
You can have this one.
If we got a corn dog all the way down to Monterey to Chili Willy, we can get a corn dog to Ontario.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to pay international postage.
Yeah, well, we were gonna try, and it was like $70 shipping or whatever it was. So he had a friend in Brownsville, Texas, that I shipped it to him, and then he
Perfect.
took it over the border to.
Jesus, I would have just bought a plane ticket and like found a factory for that kind of money, made it myself.
Text me your address. It's gonna happen.
All right,
Okay.
I love it. No,
We'll
we'll
let you know for sure.
we love the corn dog. It needs to be proudly on display in
Yeah.
every arena in this league.
Absolutely. I mean, I love the story. I mean, that's where all the fans are on the concourse at the corn dog line.
And then it's not just that. It's this past year it's grown a little bit more, and Adam
A little bit more.
it has Adam has something to do with that.
Yeah.
So we started bringing it up. So it was Dennis Doing and I, partners in crime, started bringing it up all the time on that other Facebook group that we won't mention by name. And the admin of the other Facebook group, we won't mention by name, but may or may not look somewhat like this.
That admin, he's a really good dude.
That's so funny. I love it.
We met up in KC and everything was amicable. Nice.
Oh no.
he thought it was sophomoric humor, and he thought by mentioning corn dog or this and that and the other thing that it would lessen how the league looked upon the fan groups and things and how people would look on the league. Well, you tell a bunch of people having fun that the thing they're having fun with isn't allowed anymore, and what's going to happen? It's social media, it's people in general, human nature. So it just went crazy. And at the time I said, okay, I'll stop mentioning it. And it didn't matter. It was already way overboard. And then he started banning people and it got way out of hand. And then we made a whole group out of it. So we made,
And then Adam, do you have it up on your?
Which one?
Oh, the one that's near and dear to my heart.
So one night.
Oh boy.
So the greatest predictor in MASL history decided to join in on the sophomoric humor.
Oh boy.
All right.
Okay.
Got it. Share screen, sound, video. So at one point, Matt used to do the in the box on just his phone, and every once in a while he'd have his kids around, and we would all show up in the chat and just say hi and things like that. And Matt's like, Hannah, tell Adam to go have a corn dog, and she just starts singing this song. I'm a musician at heart, and I'm like, I got to do something with this. And I had a thumb surgery back in March, and I wasn't able to play bass for like 4 months. So I wasn't able to do that. And I'm not really into like dance music, but I'm like, this could work. And I got my keyboard player to do a bunch of stuff. And this is,
it wasn't just Hannah. It was my son as well.
Yeah, you'll hear.
Hey, yo, listen, it's going down just like this.
Let's go.
Record.
I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog.
Rock and roll.
I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog. I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog. I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog. I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog. I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog. I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog. I want a corn dog, a Mr. Corn Dog.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
I had to do the second version of it. And there we have it.
So the It's Raining Tacos song was stuck in my head prior to this.
Yeah,
now that
we got a
it
new one.
absolutely eclipsed the I want a corn dog. I mean,
I kind of want a corn dog now, guys. It's just fun.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah.
so we got Benadryl, Miller Lite,
And-
video games, and booze and corn dogs. This is what we're getting at it tonight, along with a lot of information.
I think we've covered pretty much everything there is to cover with that.
No,
That
but we
list.
really appreciate you guys always like talking about how knowledgeable we are.
This is really.
No, I mean, I'm not
what
gonna
it's
lie. Like, look, we're not by any means connoisseurs of the sport, and I will never tell anybody I am. But like, I love it. And here, check this out. I know I told you boys on social media about a box of these 92 MASL cards, and shout out Chico Borja, by the way. He's one of the cards I picked out. But to me, like, the first card I opened in this box was Brian Schmetzer. I'm like, really? The head coach of the Seattle Sounders is the first card I get, and then several packs later, I find a Preki. It's pretty cool going through like the history of the league. And when we did our very first pod, that forced us to actually do a deep dive, and to know that you had the first. I mean, obviously things are arguable and debatable, but to know that one of the first ever sanctioned professional games indoor was at Madison Square Garden in my neck of the woods. I'm like, all right, some more relatable subjects to it. And it's just such a cool sport. And for us, I take this deep dive every night. Like I have to get ready for MLS, but I can't think about it because all I care about at this point is MASL. And the fact that it exists and it has existed. And I think somebody on social media said something on one of the Facebook things that the indoor game is like a cockroach. You can't kill it. It's always going to survive. It's true. It's so true. And we want to help in our own little way, promote the brand, promote the game, promote the teams, promote the players, because they all have amazing stories. Yeah, maybe they didn't go to the Barca Academy when they were kids, but who gives a shit? Their stories are just as important, and they're so athletic. Corey Adamson having a bicycle kick the way he does. You see a guy made out of stone like Frank Tayu having a decent year scoring 47 goals. You see an unbelievable keeper like a Chris Toth, or a wild man playing guitar, stopping goals like Danny Waltman. Like there's so many cool things about this game that not a lot of people know. Max Brados, I don't know if you know who he is. He's been commentating on the outdoor game forever. He's the voice of LAFC. I talk to Max all the time. I asked him whether or not I should do a podcast for the Fury. He was actually the guy who pushed me over the edge. He told me to do it. He didn't have a clue about the indoor league. And if the guy who's been commenting in the US for the longest time doesn't have that much of a knowledge of the indoor game, that's a problem. Because if more people knew about this, more people would go. And because it doesn't, like Panda said earlier, because it doesn't conflict with MLS, you can have the game year-round. You could have your outdoor pleasures and you could have your indoor pleasures. And it can go nonstop. So the fact that more people don't know about this blows my mind, which is why we felt compelled to do this and promote Ontario and promote it in our own little way. We love it. We're lifers at this point.
And that's, and seriously, like, as soon as you guys started that, I'm like, I'm hooked. Like, anyone that promotes this sport, and you guys are so passionate about it, like hats off to you. Like, we need more of you in this league. Like, every single city needs you.
I appreciate that. And this league needs you, because it's you guys that have educated us on a lot of things. Look, I wouldn't know where else to go for M2 or M3 info. You think it's hard to find MASL? It's even harder to find M2 or M3. The app that I was recommended to watch some of the, even some of the Mexico indoor games. Like, I love that. I wouldn't have known about it had it not been for you guys. So the fact that you guys are as passionate about it makes us even more passionate about it. I mean, when this season ends, I'm going to start looking and learning about MASL 2 and 3 at this point.
So, by the way, guys, he's talking about Mike Cujo. Just
He's talking about, it's all Gio. Gio's the M2 guy.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm like, so
Yeah,
like
That's awesome.
Wait, show him your college tattoo.
it's life, you know. So
What matters to you?
So my co-host on the other podcast I do, his father's from Utica, and so he's all about Utica City FC. He ordered a scarf, and I think he needs that T-shirt. That T-shirt definitely hits close to beer and sock. I mean, come on, that's amazing.
So the story behind that. So I was in Dallas, oddly enough, last year at this time.
Foreshadow.
Yeah, it was last year at this time. It was Tacoma versus Dallas, and I was out on the field. It was this day last year, and head coach of Utica City, Ryan Hall, was wearing this exact shirt, and I'm like, "Is that for sale?" And he's like, "Yeah, it is." And the next day, I bought it.
I love it.
As you should have.
I love it.
I would have bought that.
I need that shirt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm drinking wine now, but yes, there's a lot of
wine, soccer. I mean, that could be the Panda version of it.
Gonna be like the female like.
There's men out there who like wine, Panda. You can't generalize to one gender because of wine.
Yeah, no, I like wine. I haven't drank it in a while, but
there was a time.
But you guys are great. Like I enjoy listening to everything you guys do. The interviews are great. The analysis is great. Like I can't wait to hear more.
Your recap. So I watched the first one I was able to watch was the last one, just because I have no time and I find time doing other things that I should be doing,
But you're an engineer at Northwestern Mutual, right? How do you find time to do anything?
It took how long did it take you to watch that game, by the way?
3 or 4 months to watch one game from a past season.
So let me just fill you in. He asked me a game to watch for Utica, and I go, "There's a game at Utica against Rochester. It's a great game." I sat up in the fancy seats or whatever, and it was a great game. And it took him like 3-4 months to watch it.
Yeah, that was bad. I mean, I watched it in 2 sittings. I watched one half after 2 months, and then after another 2 months, I watched the other half. But your guys' recaps of the games last weekend, last weekend, was better than the actual broadcasts.
Oh,
wow! Thank you. We're humbled that you said that. Wow.
Okay. I'm feeling. I'm all in my feels right now.
Yeah.
She's great. You got her for clumped.
I'm a little overclocked.
A little overclocked.
Just
talk amongst yourselves. Coffee talk with Philly.
Over here. Okay.
No, I really appreciate you saying that. I mean, that means a lot. The recaps for us were interesting because we had to fine tune it to the outdoor game. I mean, I've done close to 175 podcasts talking about outdoor. Indoors a different animal. And so I wanted to give it the level of respect that it deserved because so much happened. And I'll be honest, we used some of the, I write down notes diligently. I have for years in terms of what I see on the field. And then I'll compare it to what the box score will say. And there are so many things that get missed on the box score that you don't have. For example, when we had to watch like a minute or two from behind the Ontario Fury goal, it's kind of fun to comment on that because maybe it's a little nudge to the camera guys to go, "Hey, you know what? We all love corn dogs here, but do your job, man."
Thank God no one scored during that.
Oh my God!
No, but now, hold on.
What is going on?
Wait. Would you imagine if they had scored on that net that they were watching at that?
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
Because then they would have replayed it and we still would have seen the wrong camera.
Yeah.
We never brought this up in the show tonight before we've been kind of half trying to get off for half an hour here, but
sorry.
No, that's sorry.
No,
that's
it's fine. No, it's fine.
On us.
This is more so our time management.
Yeah.
It's also only 9:22
Yeah,
here on our side.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we're
We're like 40 minutes away from the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not even bedtime here.
This showed up on the Dallas broadcast has done some interesting things. We've had mouse cursors fly across the screen. We've had umbrellas. This happened 2 different times. And the first time I was like, what is that? I thought it was somebody playing a video game. They did this and they put this up on I'll change my background in a second and get out of the way. Both times that somebody was set in the penalty box against, who did they play? Tacoma. Florida. Oh, yeah, against Florida. That's right. They put this up on the screen. And I was like, what the hell?
With no sound.
With no sound or no nothing. They just put that up on the screen.
So that was wait, hold on. I didn't see this. So anyone, was it Florida?
It was Dallas versus Florida.
Anyone from Florida that got put in the penalty box. Flash this.
I was in that box.
Did you see this guy when you were there?
No, I did not. I did not see him. He must not have been there. But a year ago, I was in that box and I did not see him.
So, I mean, okay. Is that for power play or is that for? There's a monster in the box. I don't
know.
I don't understand what that was.
It would keep me from wanting to commit a foul. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it came up the first time, and based on all the weird shit that happened in that broadcast, I was like, okay,
what?
I was like, what is this? Just one more time, Matt. So I was like, what is that? And I had to rewind it to go see because there's like, I'm not gonna wait. There's no way I can not rewind it because I watched the game. I didn't watch it live because it was at the same time, so I watched this one afterwards. And then I took a screenshot of this and sent it to Gio, and he's cracking up.
Oh my God, really?
And I figured it was an accident. I figured somebody put this on the screen by accident. And then the next time somebody went in the box, they played it again.
Should ask that dude behind you if he had Benadryl and Miller Lite earlier in the day.
Right?
For life, you mean?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
So, I can't look at it anymore.
All right, so you guys need to have that on your broadcast from Toyota Arena.
If that something like that should happen, which we're sure
Maybe,
it's not.
no. I think what Matt was trying to say is you should suggest it to whoever runs that broadcast.
Yes,
that's what he was trying to say.
Yes,
totally have that authority, so I think we can do something there.
Yeah, we know a person or two. Yes.
There you go. See, that's how you word it, right?
But thank you, Gio.
We know someone there.
All right, so I think we should cut it now because after midnight Eastern is when all the weird things happen. And
this is true.
My parents always told me nothing good ever happens after midnight. So.
Well, it's 9:30 West Coast, whatever.
Yeah, I was saying it's not midnight here. I get up at 5 a.m. for work, and I'm not even ready for bed yet. So.
Wow.
I know.
We're heading to bed now.
I've got 34 minutes.
You still got like a quarter of the bottle of wine, gents.
I have this much left.
I say we got to make a commitment and a promise for next year. And that promise is when that all-star game happens again, we all need to go and enjoy it together, have a couple of drinks, and do another show, maybe live while in the act of some shenanigans. And I think that should be our commitment as a collective. Striking Fury and in the box, next All-Star game, we need to do a collaborative
Here's
thing.
the thing. So former Commissioner Josh Schaub mentioned a city that needs to host the next All-Star game.
Here we go.
You guys come here.
I don't have a problem with that. Mom and Dad still live in New York City. I could hop the metro, whatever.
Everything's on me. Everything's on me.
I love New York City. It's probably one of my
Well,
favorites.
you're nowhere near New York
I know,
City.
but I'm just saying.
When we go to New York City, then go up to Utica.
Yeah, I know that.
Utica, you're gonna love it.
We're gonna see where it's hosted.
Where is Utica? All right.
I need to know.
I'm just saying. Personally, I would like to see it in Milwaukee.
So do you know? Wait. So do you know where Syracuse is?
Yes.
Of course. My cousin went to Binghamton. My best friend. I've been to plenty of games at the Carrier Dome. Definitely know where that is.
I know
All
where
right.
Brewster
So
is.
Philly. It's an hour east of Syracuse.
Piece of cake.
Where's that?
Adirondack Bank Center is always sold out. That's going to be a great time. Watch a Utica game. Have you guys watched a Utica game before?
No, I can't say that we have.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say we have.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Stop. So here's
You
what I'm
want to
gonna
watch. You want to watch teams that win championships.
No,
like a Blast.
Watch a team
or,
that sells
or
out
Milwaukee.
100% capacity.
Jay says
That's
to
what you
find
need.
Utica, head north from New York City and listen for banjos.
Utica versus Adam. Here's what I'm going to do. Watch Utica versus Rochester. I'll send you the link.
I already
And
watched
we'll
that
see how
one.
long it takes you to watch it. That
Didn't I-
environment is amazing.
We'll
Didn't I
watch
just
it
watch that?
immediately.
I'll watch it like right after.
You'll
Right after
watch
she
it
goes to
while
bed.
I'm going to bed, so don't worry.
I just noticed he's wearing an Ian Bennett hoodie, by the way.
Yeah.
Fix this.
Do you want me to get my Ian Bennett hat?
I don't have that, so I'll just stick with this M2 jersey.
I didn't have any Ontario stuff, so I had to wear.
I don't have any
something fairly
Ontario
neutral.
stuff. Yeah.
All right, so then
Yeah.
we gotta
You
send
guys,
you
I would
guys
get you some
Ontario.
gear. My bad.
I guess
I'm
they
sorry.
sent me stuff.
We'll make it happen.
Stickers.
Yeah, we'll make it
All
happen.
right, so all three of you don't have Ontario stuff. Is that what I'm
And you
understanding?
need stickers. We have new
Correct.
stickers.
All right,
Ooh.
then we need to.
I would
fix
love
that.
stickers. I'll pay for the stickers.
No,
I mean, you don't know-
You
you
won't
don't have to
pay.
pay
You
for
won't
the
pay for
stickers.
stickers.
We'll make it happen. We'll make all this happen.
for sure.
No, but
right,
seriously,
guys.
guys, thank you for joining us. We really
You guys
appreciate
are
it.
awesome.
Oh, we
You
had
guys are
such a
awesome.
good time.
Yeah, this was fun.
It's like hanging out
A
with
lot
like
of fun.
friends. So
I don't know how to do that.
Laughing in the way. Sorry.
I think it's like this.
I'm not that
I
coordinated.
don't know.
Oh,
So at one
shoot.
point in my life, I wasn't even able to bend my thumb like that. So that's my excuse.
I had a cup of.
That was my celebration when I used to score. That was a long time ago. And the knee surgery beforehand. But anyways, that's the past.
We'll do this again.
Thanks,
We
guys.
definitely
Yeah,
do.
we need to do this again. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I'm totally.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for
We
having us.
appreciate it.
All right. Have an
Anytime.
awesome night.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Worst case scenario, we'll see y'all March 10th.
All right.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. All right.
We'll find out.
Give us your corn dog.
Give us your corn dog. You'll definitely find out. That sounded really weird.
It's in my